The only hero who can save the world crosses into another world, but resolutely chooses to join the Demon King's army. Because of an angel's teleportation blunder, the hero who was supposed to arrive in the beginner's village was instead sent straight to the Demon King's lair. To make matters worse, the strongest monsters are right before his eyes, yet he has no idea. The angel told him that the first stop was a beginner's village, and that the monsters there were all weak. So the hero attacks the monsters without hesitation. Tutorial mobs. The result is predictable. The hero is easily defeated and thrown into a dungeon cell. Refusing to give up, he demands to fight the Minotaur again. His loud protest draws the attention of the second-in-command goblin. The goblin drops his greatsword onto the ground, the thunderous crash almost frightening the hero out of his wits. It's a real sword. Fine, I'll be quiet. The goblin turns away. Human, make another sound and I'll cook you in a stew. Choi Hyansik sits on the floor, utterly confused. The angel said adventures in another world would be easy and fun, not only safe, but also filled with beauties eager to throw themselves at him. But all of this was a lie the angel told just to send him to another world. While Choi Hyansik is still bewildered, a voice comes from the next cell. Are you the new hero? Choi Hyansik quickly responds and asks who the other person is. I'm a hero too. This is the slave dungeon in the Demon King's castle. Choi Hyansik is shocked, but the real shock is yet to come. The hero in the next cell gives a wicked grin and shouts loudly, heroes who claim the title, are you still alive? The entire dungeon erupts. I'm an S-class hero, still alive. Me too. The big brother hero says proudly, see, there are over 100 heroes in this dungeon. The boss is the Minotaur Raidrun, and the second-in-command is the Goblin Jock. They're both vicious. And, the big brother suddenly chokes up. It's all because of that devil Rahel that we're in this mess. Choi Hyansik is stunned. Rahel is the angel's name. After the big brother explains, he finally understands. Normally, heroes start in the city, but Rahel's negligence caused a teleportation error. Since heroes have no power at first, they're completely helpless. Choi Hyansik loses it. This is a hellish start. The next day, he gets a real taste of hell. Not only does he have to work for the Demon King for free, the goblin even rides him like a mount. Let's go back, slaves. You short, fat goblin, one day I'll get you. Back in the slave dungeon, Choi Hyansik is utterly drained. But after a rest, he remembers the angel said heroes have a privilege, a status window. So he quickly summons it. Scanning it, he finds his stats are higher than the average person. But considering he was once a world boxing champion, that's normal. Stamina 31? Choi Hyansik's stats surprise the big brother in the next cell. Impressive, you have 31 stamina at level 1. But I'm still a slave, Choi Hyansik says indifferently. Big brother thinks he's special. You will definitely escape from here and become a real hero. Faced with the encouragement, Choi Hyansik just wants to give up. In the middle of the night, he sneaks up again to check his status window, making sure he hasn't missed anything. After 2 minutes, he actually notices something odd. What is this hero point? I asked Big Brother about it during the day, and none of them had this. Could it be that I'm the only true hero? While Choi Hyansik is pondering, a sudden flash of light interrupts him. Long time no see, Mr. Hero. The visitor is none other than the angel Rahel. Let me tell you what hero points do. They are the key to creating the ultimate hero. Faced with this helpful angel, Choi Hyansik instantly flies into a rage. I don't care about hero points, but I'm going to beat you up first. Moments later, the angel is begging for mercy. I'm sorry. I just spilled coffee on the magic circle and it messed up the teleportation. After a higher god found out, the angel was punished and forced to become Choi Hyansik's exclusive spirit until the Demon King is defeated. You're an SSS rank hero, completing the mission should be easy. Choi Hyansik couldn't care less. Rather than defeating the Demon King, I'd much rather live an ordinary life here. In his previous life, he was a world boxing champion, but after a lifetime of fighting, he still died single. I'm tired of all the fighting and killing. The angel is dumbfounded. If the mission isn't completed, she'll never return to the divine realm. She tries to persuade him again, but there's a noise outside the door. Choi Hyansik grabs the angel and signals her to keep quiet. Don't worry, I'll use an invisibility spell. Choi Hyansik lets go of the angel and looks toward the door. The visitor is none other than Jock, the second-in-command. Mr. Raidrun wants to see you. He is brought to the office. Turns out, Jock told Raidrun he'd gotten a new mount, Choi Hyansik. He works really hard. This piqued Raidrun's curiosity. That ugly goblin actually praised me? Someday I'm going to gut you. You work hard. I'd like to appoint you as chief slave. The angel is instantly stunned. He's trying to steal my person. You're going to refuse, right? Say no, and make it count. A human hero must never bow to the Demon King's army. Of course. Choi Hyansik gives a wicked grin. He drops to his knees and kowtows hard. Thank you, sir. I won't let you down. Excellent. I'm starting to like you. Raidrun nods in satisfaction. 3 days later, Choi Hyansik officially starts his new job. Run faster. My grandma runs faster than all of you. No one's leaving until the work's done. He's very satisfied with his current position. Being the slave supervisor is awesome. This leaves the others below him dumbfounded. This guy must have lost his mind. They say he used to be a human hero. Can you believe it? Even Angel Rahel can't bear to watch Choi Hyun-sik's behavior. Are you crazy? If you keep this up, you're going to get in serious trouble. Choi Hyun-sik ignores her. You idiot, you have no idea what my plan is. Why are you lying on the ground? You want to be a turtle or something? Get up and get to work. After squeezing every drop out of the slaves, he salutes Raidrun in the office. Thank you, sir. I'll do my best. That finally pushes the angel over the edge. She starts lecturing nonstop about what a hero should do, to the point that Choi Hyun-sik's ears are ringing. He quickly opens his hero panel. Because of an idiot's mistake, you were teleported to the Demon King's dungeon. Current mission, win the favor of Demon Army Officer Raidrun. I'm just following the hero's quest, understand? The angel refuses to believe it, and even after they return to the slave dungeon, she still thinks he's lying to her. Choi Hyun-sik finally loses patience and grabs the angel. Whose fault do you think it is that I'm locked up in here? After being warned, the angel quiets down a lot, and even stops nagging him at work. Is that really his mission? Only the higher-ups can change quest objectives. Why would they do that? While the angel is deep in thought, Jacques shows up. Mr. Raidrun wants to see you. With the order in hand, Choi Hyun-sik cheerfully heads to the office. After 2 days of diligent work, Choi Hyun-sik's efforts have finally earned the commander's recognition. Well done, young man. Seeing the other's face turn red, Choi Hyun-sik sucks in a sharp breath. Before Raidrun can do anything weird, he immediately salutes. Sir, may I train the slaves? I want to build an elite team for you, so one person can do the work of 3. That way, the Demon King's castle will be finished in a week. At first, Raidrun refuses, since human bodies are too weak to handle both training and labor. But since the suggestion came from him, he's happy to approve it. Thank you, sir. With permission granted, Choi Hyun-sik rushes back to the slave dungeon. He's barely through the door when Angel Rahel bursts into tears. My hero has lost his mind. Not only is he groveling to the Demon King's army, now he's helping them exploit his own people. How am I supposed to live with this? Her sobbing gives Choi Hyun-sik a headache, so he has no choice but to explain his plan. Listen, I don't plan to be the enemy of humanity. I'm just going to use the slaves to start a revolt. Choi Hyun-sik has done the math. This castle has 3,000 slaves, but only 500 demon soldiers. There's a human base not far off, and escaping there would be a good move. He's so convincing that even the angel, who never had any faith in him, looks up at him in admiration. Looks like my hero isn't just a muscle head after all. After completing the quest to win Raidrun's favor, Choi Hyun-sik gets 100 hero points. Let's see what treasures are in the hero shop. He can't wait to open the shop, but what he finds leaves him speechless. F-rank skill. Hold your breath. Skill description allows the hero to hold their breath. He thinks this is ridiculous, but as he scrolls down, he realizes he was being too optimistic. E-rank item, dog poop. Item description, 100 grams. Please handle with care. The angel can't help but burst out laughing. Don't be discouraged, this is just a level 1 shop. Once you reach level 2, there'll be better stuff, like larger quantities of poo. The angel is giggling beside him, completely missing the murderous look on Choi Hyun-sik's face. This is the shop you said would let me become the ultimate hero? The next day, Choi Hyun-sik officially begins training the slaves. First, recite the slogan of our 3rd Legion. Begin. We are the great Demon King's army, defeating humans, singing our triumph. From the tower, Raidrun takes it all in with satisfaction. Good, the kid hasn't let me down. Just as he's feeling proud, Jacques bursts in, panic-stricken. Bad news. The human army is advancing. The 8th Division has already fallen. It's only a matter of time before they reach us. Our best option now is to abandon this nearly finished fortress. Raidrun hesitates, but the goblin's tough attitude leaves him no choice. We must evacuate immediately. Raidrun looks down from the tower. He knows full well that the purpose of this war is to seize wealth. To him, the most valuable treasure here is Choi Hyun-sik. You all go first, I'll follow with Choi Hyun-sik. With that, he kicks open the window. Choi Hyun-sik catches sight of this just in time. Looks like we can't do combat training today. He's been watching me the whole time. He has no choice but to keep going through the motions, shouting slogans as usual. Just then, Raidrun suddenly lands behind Choi Hyun-sik, gently turning him to face him. Listen, Choi Hyun-sik, there's no time. We have to pull out. Wait, where are we going? Choi Hyun-sik is totally baffled. As they argue, the human army arrives on the scene. Charge. At the commander's order, the battle between humans and demons erupts instantly. The human commander quickly spots Raidrun. The Red Nightmare is there. Priority target, take him down first. Choi Hyun-sik reacts fast. The human army is here, maybe this is my chance. If I ambush Raidrun from behind, I could return to human society as a hero. While Choi Hyun-sik is weighing his options, a human knight charges at full speed. Raidrun simply reaches out and crushes the knight's armored skull in his hand. The worst is yet to come. He grabs the knight and slams him into the ground with all his might. The devastating blow sweeps across the battlefield, nearly wiping out the entire human force. The first thing he does after is turn to Choi Hyun-sik with gentle concern. "You okay?" Choi Hyun-sik snaps to attention in terror. "Sir, I'm fine. I'll evacuate right away." Although Raid Run single-handedly defeats the entire human squad, the pressure from enemy reinforcements forces him to retreat. "My adventure is over. My second life is over, too." Choi Hyun-sik is stunned. He never imagined this guy would be so powerful, crushing his dreams of rejoining humanity in a single blow. Look on the bright side. Going to the Demon King's headquarters is a good chance to learn about their military strength. "Shut up, you liar." Choi Hyun-sik has completely lost faith in anything the so-called angel says. But their bickering wakes up the slumbering Raid Run. "What did you just say?" "I fell asleep and didn't catch it." Choi Hyun-sik quickly waves his hands in denial. "Nothing, sir. I was just saying it's an honor to be with you." Raid Run blushes and starts getting strange ideas again. "Once we reach headquarters, I'll formally recommend you to join the Demon King's army." Choi Hyun-sik turns to stone on the spot. This means any hope of escape is basically gone. "It's my honor." 5 hours later, the convoy arrives at Demon Army headquarters. The first thing after getting out of the vehicle, Raid Run prepares to take Choi Hyun-sik to see the commander. He knows it's not exactly proper protocol, but he's convinced the commander will like this kid too. "But you'd better watch your words, or you could die." Soon the two of them are standing outside the main hall. "Commander Hemis, it's me, Raid Run." As soon as he finishes, a gentle female voice comes from inside. "Come in." With permission, Raid Run enters the hall, openly taking full responsibility for losing the fortress. But Hemis doesn't see it that way. She thinks the materials transport officer is to blame. If it weren't for the shortage of supplies, the castle would have been finished ages ago. "I'll make sure he gets a coffin." As she speaks, Hemis's body suddenly radiates a terrifying pressure, making it impossible for Choi Hyun-sik to breathe, and even his limbs are seized by instinctive fear. "What is this pressure? It's stronger than anything I've ever experienced." After a moment, Hemis withdraws her aura and notices Choi Hyun-sik, asking Raid Run who he is. "This is the Choi Hyun-sik I mentioned before. I brought him to join the demon army." In a flash, Hemis appears in front of Choi Hyun-sik. She's clearly interested in the talent Raid Run recommended, but voices a concern at the same time. "He's here in a human body, which means he might get eaten." "Eaten?" Choi Hyun-sik is instantly stunned, looking to Raid Run like he's a lifeline. "Don't worry, not with me around. I'll personally train you and make you strong enough." But Hemis flatly rejects this, thinking it's a waste for a high-ranking officer like Raid Run to train a human. So she reaches into her mouth, rummages around for a moment. Then her body twists wildly, and finally she spits out a strange creature from the top of her head. "Starting today, you're my pet's caretaker. His name is Bobo. Isn't he adorable?" "Adorable, my foot." Choi Hyun-sik just wants to get as far away from that thing as possible. But under Hemis's pressure, he has no choice but to compromise in the end. "It's my honor to take care of Bobo." "Good." Hemis tosses the dog over and gives Choi Hyun-sik some good news. "Don't forget to feed him. If he gets hungry, he gets angry, and when he's angry, he likes to eat his caretaker." And just like that, Choi Hyun-sik officially joins the demon army, receiving a hero quest at the same time, to win Bobo's affection. Choi Hyun-sik looks at the sleeping Bobo. What does this have to do with being a hero? While he's thinking, the door suddenly swings open, and in walks a balding goblin, his co-caretaker for Bobo. Choi Hyun-sik greets him in a friendly way, but at the same time knows that if danger strikes, this guy will definitely offer him up as food first. "You and I need to prepare dinner for Bobo now," says the goblin, issuing the order in a commanding tone. "If you understand, then." Before he can finish, Bobo wakes up. The goblin instantly hides behind Choi Hyun-sik. "This new guy is your food." He tries to shove Choi Hyun-sik forward, making it easier for Bobo to eat. "Someone's going to die anyway. Why shouldn't it be you?" But the goblin underestimates Choi Hyun-sik's strength and is tossed aside in an instant. Snack time. 2 minutes later, the crunching and swallowing sounds from Bobo stop. Still hungry, it sets its sights on Angel Rahel. "Save me. Help." As she runs, Bobo's anger rises, and it even starts seeing Choi Hyun-sik as food. "Quick, think. How do you calm down an angry dog?" "Got it." Choi Hyun-sik's eyes light up. No dog can resist this word, walkies. At the sound, Bobo's eyes immediately clear, and it leaps into his arms. Just as I thought. Soon, Choi Hyun-sik takes Bobo outside, but they have no idea where the kitchen is. As they wander aimlessly, a goblin unexpectedly appears ahead of them. Choi Hyun-sik quickly calls out, "Hey handsome, where's the kitchen?" "Kitchen? On your right." The goblin runs off without looking back. This makes Choi Hyun-sik burst out laughing. "Everyone in the demon army is so timid? Looks like I can throw my weight around in the future." Just as he's feeling smug, he turns to find that Bobo has vanished. Damn, where did the dog go? The two of them frantically search everywhere. Their efforts pay off, and they soon spot Bobo again. My baby, do you have any idea how worried I was? Choi Hyun-sik looks down and immediately senses something's off. Did it just kill someone? As he's reeling from shock, a shout rings out not far away. Captain Regis has been eaten. Rahel's smile freezes instantly. I'm guessing it was Bobo. Who else could it be? Choi Hyun-sik scoops up Bobo and bolts, the goblins quickly giving chase. But their short legs make it impossible to catch up to Choi Hyun-sik. Unfortunately, Choi Hyun-sik and company run straight into a dead end. When he turns, a horde of goblins is already blocking their escape. You killed the captain, human. We'll kill you too. Another goblin licks its lips. Hope the captain isn't digested yet. I've always wanted to taste him. Faced with this hopeless situation, Choi Hyun-sik suddenly gets an idea. Maybe he can intimidate them. How dare you be so rude? He swings Bobo in his arms. Do you know who this is? This is Bobo. As soon as he says it, almost all the goblins instinctively step back. They know full well how terrifying Hemis is, and that Bobo is her pet. But one reckless goblin suspects the human is bluffing. Choi Hyun-sik crouches down and scratches Bobo under the chin. Beast mode, on. As soon as he lets go, Bobo lunges at the doubting goblin. That's what you get for not believing. In just 15 seconds, Bobo devours it completely. Anyone else not convinced? No. The remaining goblins all bow in submission. At this moment, Hemis's voice suddenly sounds from behind Choi Hyun-sik. So this is what all the noise was about. Turns out our adorable newcomer is up to something interesting. Afterward, he's called into the office. Once she understands what happened, Hemis bursts out laughing. So you're using me and Bobo to survive here? Seeing this, Choi Hyun-sik immediately drops to his knees and admits his mistake. But Hemis doesn't think he's wrong at all. I guess you're still human in the end, and pretty clever too. Hemis lifts Choi Hyun-sik's chin. But you're a man. You should learn the demon army's tradition, solving problems with strength. She returns to her seat, then asks Choi Hyun-sik a question. Are you interested in becoming a high-ranking officer in the demon army? Choi Hyun-sik freezes on the spot. With skills as lousy as his, the only way to become an officer would be to sell himself out. I know it'll be hard for you, given your current strength. Hemis explains the rules to him. Demons can take each other's rank through duels. You can't use my name or Bobo's anymore. I know it's tough, so I'll protect you for a month. After a month, you'll have to defeat an opponent I pick. If you win, I'll protect you for another month, until you climb to company commander. Choi Hyun-sik can't help swallowing hard. What if I lose? Hemis gives a wicked smile. If you can, you'd better die in battle. Choi Hyun-sik has no choice but to agree. She even picks out his future opponent on the spot. Looks like I've only got 30 days left to live. Feeling dejected, Choi Hyun-sik makes his way to the kitchen to find food for Bobo. As he reaches the door, he notices it's covered in bloodstains. So he only dares to stick his head inside, ready to run at any moment. Hello, sorry to bother you. As soon as he speaks, a red goblin turns around. It's the head chef, Kulkin. You must be the human the commander mentioned. Choi Hyun-sik quickly nods with a smile, explaining he's here to get food for Bobo. To his shock, Kulkin refuses without a second thought. Choi Hyun-sik is left speechless. I'm not obligated to help you. Commander Hemis only said we're not allowed to touch you. If you want meat, you'll have to hunt it yourself, like the rest of us. He gestures at a group of goblins behind him, who are busy butchering a goblin and eating with gusto. Is this the captain's meat? Not bad at all. Choi Hyun-sik is stunned by the sight. These aren't chefs, they're monsters. But if he doesn't want to end up as Bobo's next meal, he has no choice but to join the goblins on their hunt. But on the very first hunt, Choi Hyun-sik encounters deadly danger. Luckily, there's a group of goblins in front of him who take the brunt of the attack. Staring at the not-quite-dead beast in front of him, Choi Hyun-sik is dumbfounded. So who's hunting who here? At this moment, Rahel suggests making a run for it. Choi Hyun-sik agrees. He feels like something terrible will happen if he stays. But just as he lifts his foot to leave, Kulkin calls out to him. Okay, I'll lead the charge? Kulkin glances at him sideways. No need. The hunt is already over. Choi Hyun-sik is stunned. They killed the giant beast in just the few seconds he was spacing out. Even so, the goblins paid dearly for it. 13 dead, 25 seriously wounded, and that's just for this one hunt. Yet Kulkin feels no sadness over the casualties. On the contrary, he's very pleased with the outcome, telling his team to rest a bit before the next hunt. After thinking for 2 minutes, Choi Hyun-sik suddenly gives up on running away. Wait, my dear hero, are you really going to hunt monsters with them? No, I don't have to do that. Choi Hyun-sik has made up his mind. As long as I participate in the kill here, I get experience and can level up. Even if I just tap the monster once, as long as I land the finishing blow, I get all the experience. So there's no need to risk myself. Rahel is dumbfounded. Is he actually a genius? But this is just gaming the system. She doesn't want her hero to be this kind of person. But Choi Hyun-sik is determined. I have to get strong enough in this month. After that, he heads over to Kulkin, who seems to see right through his plan to escape. Human, I didn't expect you to come back. I never left. Choi Hyun-sik quickly plays dumb, then says he wants to join the monster hunts. You, a human? Culkin doesn't answer right away, but just fixes him with a long stare. It makes Choi Hyun-sik's skin crawl. The other officers loved my humble attitude. Does this guy not care? Turns out he was overthinking. The next second, Culkin bursts into laughter. A human saying something so bold. How adorable. Choi Hyun-sik scratches his head. It's all thanks to your influence, chef. Flattered, Culkin makes a decision, putting Choi Hyun-sik in charge of leading the monster hunt. This stuns Choi Hyun-sik. He just wanted to leech some experience from the back. No, I'm only a humble human. I can't stand in front of the noble demons. That would upset them. As the two argued, a panicked goblin suddenly came running from nearby, immediately reporting to Culkin. A pack of wild wolves is attacking. In stark contrast to the goblin's panic, Culkin remained utterly calm. He gripped the cleaver on his back. More good meat. Let's go, boys. Excellent, Choi Hyun-sik grinned slyly. All I have to do is land the finishing blow at the right moment. I'll help you too, Mr. Hero. Rahel chimed in, casting a spell right away, vastly boosting Choi Hyun-sik's physical strength, though only for 3 minutes. He thought he'd get some praise for this, but instead got a fist the size of a sandbag. Why didn't you use that sooner? With the buff, Choi Hyun-sik's confidence soared. It's just 5 black wolves, no big deal. He leapt forward, and landed a punch right on a barely alive black wolf. Level up. Level up. To his surprise, just one hit took him up 4 whole levels. Just as Choi Hyun-sik was celebrating, he noticed a goblin nearby trying to land the last blow, so he shoved him aside. Sorry, I slipped. Staring at the black wolf on the ground, Choi Hyun-sik licked his lips greedily. All the finishing blows are mine. Under his lead, the 5 black wolves were quickly wiped out. Choi Hyun-sik was about to leave, but Culkin called out to him, inviting him to taste the fresh meat. It's a chef's privilege to enjoy the freshest food. He handed a piece of meat to Choi Hyun-sik. You did well, so maybe you should have a taste. Looking at the bloody, raw meat in front of him, Choi Hyun-sik felt intense revulsion, but didn't dare refuse the offer, so he forced himself to take a bite. The texture's fine, but the taste is pretty terrible. Suddenly, a thought struck Choi Hyun-sik. If I can make tastier food, maybe I can control them with it. Without hesitating, he bought a bottle of flavor enhancer from the hero shop. Only by conquering these monsters' stomachs with delicious food could a weakling like him gain a chance to turn them. This approach, however, infuriated Rahel, who thought that such precious hero points shouldn't be wasted on trivial things like seasoning. Even if they like it, it's useless. Choi Hyun-sik ignored her, and instead picked up a piece of meat to grill. He wanted the result to shut Rahel up. Just wait, this stuff will make even shoe leather taste amazing. The half-cooked, juicy grilled meat exploded with fragrance the moment he sprinkled the seasoning. Choi Hyun-sik was very pleased with his creation. I'm the god of cooking in this world. He immediately brought it to head chef Culkin, since fresh off the grill tastes best. Culkin glanced at it and politely refused. Thanks, but I'm already full. But Choi Hyun-sik didn't give up. This is my ultimate masterpiece. If you try it, I could die happy. After repeated pleas, Culkin finally gave in and took a bite. That single bite instantly transported him back to his childhood. It's mom's flavor. Culkin was deeply satisfied with the barbecue, because he'd been a shy kid, and his mother's grilled meat was his hope growing up. To thank Choi Hyun-sik, he handed him a large bag of fresh meat in return. If you need anything else, come to me. Choi Hyun-sik returned to his quarters with the meat. Bobo, I'm back. No sooner had he finished speaking than Bobo lunged at him, jaws wide. In a panic, Choi Hyun-sik quickly pulled out the bag of meat, finally stuffing Bobo's mouth. Good boy, eat as much as you want. With a steady food supply, Choi Hyun-sik no longer had to worry about becoming Bobo's next meal. Instead, he'd become his true master. After devouring 30 pounds of meat, Bobo's affection for Choi Hyun-sik soared. Congratulations, you've completed the quest and won Bobo's favor. Reward, 200 hero points. The success left Choi Hyun-sik full of confidence. Perfect, just as planned. He immediately opened his info panel. Rahel, peeking over, was stunned. You're just going to let those 22 free attribute points sit there for your next life? That's because someone didn't bother explaining what they're for. That shut Rahel up, since as his exclusive spirit, she was supposed to teach him everything about this world. Rahel quickly started her explanation. There are 4 main stats: strength, agility, endurance, and magic. Wait a second. Choi Hyun-sik cut her off, because he'd noticed a 5th stat, charisma. That one's different. With Rahel's explanation, he learned that charisma was a hidden stat, unassignable through points, and could only be improved through training. So far, though, his charisma with male monsters was pretty high. Rahel continued, physical stats matter most in the early game, but later, magic becomes everything. Following her advice, Choi Hyun-sik put most of his points into his physical stats. Now you can buy the basics of magic control from the hero shop. Rahel continued her tutorial. It'll teach you how to control magic, and only costs about 100 hero points. Choi Hyun-sik searched the hero shop over and over, but couldn't find anything like magic control. No way. I remember it being one of the most common things in the hero shop. Choi Hyun-sik could only sigh deeply. He'd thought his exclusive spirit was finally useful, but it seemed he was wrong. No, I swear it's in there. Just like that, 3 weeks flew by. During this time, Choi Hyun-sik finally managed to reach level 100. It took even longer than I thought. I must be the hardest working hero in this world. The constant high-intensity work left him utterly miserable. What are you talking about? Aren't you basically a slacker now? The word slacker made Choi Hyun-sik instantly furious, and he slapped Rahel to the ground. Do you have any idea how many times I almost died? But usually it takes half a year to get to level 100. I was just trying to be friendly, not insulting you. Rahel looked aggrieved. You brought this on yourself. As the two bickered, the main door suddenly flew open, and a panicked goblin burst in. Choi Hyun-sik, the beast tamer. The commander wants to see you. Receiving the summons, Choi Hyun-sik didn't dare waste any time and quickly headed to Hemis's office. His transformation was so striking that even Hemis couldn't help but remark. I can't believe it. Barely a month has passed, and Choi Hyun-sik is visibly so much stronger, and even his magic power has doubled. That's all from hunting for Bobo's food. Choi Hyun-sik tried to brush it off, but Hemis wasn't fooled for a second. Is it because of the hero system? Cold sweat broke out on Choi Hyun-sik's forehead. Does she know I'm a hero? Hemis stood up and told Choi Hyun-sik that she'd seen through him from the very first meeting. The only reason she hadn't said anything was because Raidrun liked him so much. And now, she had even more reasons not to kill him. Are you talking about the duel in a few days? That's right. Hemis nodded, and suddenly a terrifying aura exploded from her body, as she shifted into her true form and lunged at Choi Hyun-sik. When they were less than half a meter apart, she stopped abruptly. If you don't want to die, work hard and try to make me happy, okay? After this, Hemis sent Choi Hyun-sik back to his quarters. What gets an audience excited? A flashy show, or a one-sided slaughter? Choi Hyun-sik kept pondering this, because if he couldn't impress Hemis, he'd be dead for sure. What do we do? What do we do? We're doomed. Rahel, as always, was as useless as ever. Let me think. Choi Hyun-sik said, opening the hero shop, convinced that knowing your enemy is the key to victory. But aside from his opponent's name, he knew nothing else. Perfect, this is it. Without hesitation, Choi Hyun-sik bought an item, the combat level meter. It would let him measure his opponent's strength. Choi Hyun-sik pointed the combat level meter at Rahel, and it showed a combat power of 375. With no baseline, he had no idea what that number really meant. Let me try it on you, Rahel suggested, and stood behind the combat level meter, looking at Choi Hyun-sik. The bizarre number that appeared left her stunned. This thing must be broken, right? Because it showed Choi Hyun-sik's combat power at a staggering 1560. How can you be stronger than me? What's the big deal? You always seemed like the weakest anyway. Choi Hyun-sik took back the combat level meter. Rahel's eyes filled with tears. Before she was sent to this world, her combat power had been over 10,000. To make sure the combat level meter wasn't broken, Choi Hyun-sik pointed it at Bobo. Let's see how strong this little guy is. The instant he saw the number, Choi Hyun-sik was dumbfounded. 47,422. Turns out we're both weaker than the dog. Are we sure this thing is even a dog? After thinking it over, Choi Hyun-sik decided to take the combat level meter outside to check other people's power levels. The weakest are the little goblins. The rest are about the same as me. But anyone with a commander's rank is over 10,000. My opponent is just a squad leader, right? Rahel nodded. His name's Kirkin. I hear he's a pig-headed beastman. If he's just a squad leader, Choi Hyun-sik figured his combat power should be around 3,000. If I grind a little more, I should be able to handle it. That was the dream. Reality hit him hard. When Choi Hyun-sik saw Kirkin's actual combat power, he broke out in a cold sweat. It was over 6,000. Fighting him would be suicide. While Choi Hyun-sik was in shock, the hero system suddenly popped up. Your chance of beating that pig is almost zero. But since not giving up in hopeless situations is your specialty, I'll give you a shot. Raise your combat power to 3,000 within a week, and you'll get 300 hero points. This quest couldn't have come at a better time. Choi Hyun-sik grinned. All right, no matter what, I'll make it. Whether it's the audience or Hemis, just wait for me. I'll be the one still standing at the end. The next morning, Choi Hyun-sik returned to the kitchen. Kulkin eyed the combat level meter in Choi Hyun-sik's hand and couldn't help commenting. That's a stylish little gadget. Where'd you get it? Choi Hyun-sik scratched his head. Everyone else seemed to have one, so I bought one for myself. Kulkin turned away, unable to understand the younger generation's taste, and simply told Choi Hyun-sik to get ready for the hunt. Yes, sir. While Kulkin's back was turned, Choi Hyun-sik quickly scanned him with the combat level meter. Over 35,000. That's way above a normal commander's level. And not just him. Choi Hyun-sik quickly checked everyone else in the kitchen. The people here all had much higher power levels than regular soldiers. Is this what comes from fighting monsters every day? Seeing this, Choi Hyun-sik had an idea. If I spar with someone close to my level here, I could gauge where I stand. Commander Culkin, may I spar with one of the cooks? Spar? Culkin was taken aback. Yes, I think it would help my training. Culkin looked serious. He thought Choi Hyun-sik was plenty strong for a human and didn't need to push himself further. Choi Hyun-sik put on a disappointed face. Too bad. I brought some meat today to grill us, thanks, but I guess I'll have to save it for another time. He pretended to put the meat back in his pack. Culkin grabbed him. Fine, we'll do it now. Who do you want to fight? Preparations for the spar began at once. Choi Hyun-sik picked an orc named Galbakum as his opponent. He chose Galbakum because he was the same race as Kirkin, and seemed to be the dumbest among the kitchen soldiers. Still, his combat power was 2,500, nearly double Choi Hyun-sik's. Honestly, he didn't think he could win, but I have to. The image of Kirkin's overwhelming strength flashed through his mind. If he couldn't beat this much weaker orc, he'd never stand a chance against Kirkin. What's going on? We're supposed to be hunting. Choi Hyun-sik and Galbakum are going to spar. When the kitchen soldiers heard the news, they all gathered around. Sparring? What's that? It's just mutual slaughter. So Choi Hyun-sik's going to die? If he dies, who'll grill the meat? We can't live without meat. Let's just kill Galbakum first. That's a good idea. Just as the unfortunate orc's death sentence was about to be handed down, Culkin stepped in. Shut up, idiots. Sparring isn't killing, it's just a test of strength. The kitchen soldiers whispered among themselves. So it's an arm wrestling match? Maybe a tug of war. Culkin ignored them. Listen up, Galbakum. He needed to make sure Galbakum, Choi Hyun-sik's sparring partner, understood. You absolutely cannot kill Choi Hyun-sik. You can hit him, but go easy. Got it. Got it. Galbakum answered with a dumb look, scratching his head absent-mindedly, clearly not reliable. But don't go too easy. Hurt him a little, just to make it real. Got it. Got it. And try not to break anything. Sparring is hard enough. When it's over, I'll give you extra meat, so do your best. The moment he heard meat, Galbakum's eyes lit up. Leave it to me, chef. He suddenly spoke fluently and stepped forward. Choi Hyun-sik, let's spar. All right, let's have a good match. Galbakum and Choi Hyun-sik faced each other, keeping their distance. Culkin raised his arm as referee. Ready, go. As Culkin's arm dropped, the match began. Galbakum got into position. I don't want to hurt him too much. He's the barbecue guy. I don't want to hurt him. But Choi Hyun-sik rushed in at full speed from the start. Galbakum raised his arm, but even a gentle punch would have crushed Choi Hyun-sik's face. But unexpectedly, Galbakum's fist missed entirely. At the same moment, he saw Choi Hyun-sik's kick. He seemed to hear the wind slicing through the air. The big shoe, soles caked in mud, getting bigger and bigger. I'm gonna get hit. That was Galbakum's last thought. As expected, Choi Hyun-sik took him down with a single kick. Soon after, the 3rd Legion reached the forest behind headquarters. Though the magic beasts hadn't appeared yet, Choi Hyun-sik was already strangely excited. Honestly, he hadn't expected to win, but he'd knocked out an orc with twice his combat power in a single blow. So now he knew that combat power wasn't everything. He still had a chance against Kirkin. Of course, Kirkin was much stronger than Galbakum today. He was the real monster here. There's a large group of Talus ahead. The long-awaited news finally came. Really? So this is Talus territory? Culkin was puzzled. That's strange. There usually aren't Talus packs in this area. This made the usually decisive Culkin hesitate. So Choi Hyun-sik walked over. Is something wrong? Is Talus meat not tasty? No, Talus meat is delicious, especially the chewy Talus marrow, an absolute delicacy. But Talus are pack animals, and if we're not careful, they'll come out in force. Especially the Queen Talus. She's got strong maternal instincts. If we mess with her kids, we're in real trouble. So does that mean we can clock out early today? Choi Hyun-sik grinned, scratching his head. No, if Talus meat is that good, we're catching them anyway, Culkin said calmly. The queen rarely leaves the nest, so we should be fine. He raised his giant cleaver. Let's go. Today's snack is Talus marrow. The kitchen soldiers sounded the charge. Catch them alive. Their fluids are the real treasure. As the kitchen soldiers began to fight, Choi Hyun-sik started his act again. He accidentally knocked a soldier flying, then stole the final blow on a monster. Last hit's mine. I need to level up. With each kick, Choi Hyun-sik took down a monster and kept leveling up. You sure know how to KS, hero. Of course, Choi Hyun-sik laughed. At this rate, I'll outpace Culkin soon. But just then, the ground began to tremble, and a deafening roar filled the air. What's going on? Choi Hyun-sik looked around in confusion, and the kitchen soldiers were just as surprised. But soon, the source of the tremors revealed itself, the Talus Queen. Her massive body blotted out the sky. Seeing the pile of Talus corpses on the ground, the queen's body shook with rage. She wanted to make these people pay. Choi Hyeon-sik looked up, wanting to know just how strong the queen that even Culkin feared really was. But when he pointed the combat level meter at her, it started blaring. Unable to measure. Unable to measure. Mr. Culkin, what should we do now? Choi Hyeon-sik turned, only to see Culkin's back as he ran away. Goodbye, everyone. Try to stay alive. Choi Hyeon-sik was stunned. What the hell? That irresponsible bastard. In the next tense instant, the Talus Queen's legs fired at the crowd like bullets. A whole cluster of goblins died before they could even react. But the queen wasn't satisfied. She let out a roar so loud it nearly burst Choi Hyeon-sik's eardrums. What kind of monster makes a sound like that? Before he could figure it out, Rahel's voice whispered in his ear, "Hero, look behind you." Warned, Choi Hyeon-sik turned his head and saw a shocking sight. The ground was swarming with Talus, stampeding towards him. Choi Hyeon-sik had no choice but to scatter with the rest. Anyone who ran slow was killed instantly by the queen. Screams and wailing echoed through the crowd, but Choi Hyeon-sik couldn't care less. He knew if he stopped, he'd die for sure. After 10 minutes of running, Choi Hyeon-sik finally came to a cave entrance. Hiding in here should be safe, right? Rahel nodded. Safe. I checked. No monsters inside. Choi Hyeon-sik didn't really trust her, but figured it had to be safer than being out in the open. After a moment's thought, he went inside. The cave was deep and wide, like it had formed naturally. Doesn't that mean the Talus Queen could squeeze in too? Rahel's words made Choi Hyeon-sik freeze. He quickly scanned the area, and found a patch of green slime on the rocks. Could this have been left by a Talus? But Culkin said there were no Talus around here. They kept moving deeper, and soon stumbled on something even scarier. The cave was filled with countless Talus eggs. Is this the Talus Queen's nest? Choi Hyeon-sik stared in disbelief at everything before him. We can't stay here. But while he was frozen, a Talus spike shot toward him at lightning speed. Choi Hyeon-sik dodged to the side. Why is there another adult Talus here? No time to think, he just picked a direction and ran. Are you sure that's the way out? Rahel asked, but Choi Hyeon-sik didn't answer. He only ran. He was quickly tripped by something on the ground. In his panic, Choi Hyeon-sik grabbed a random egg and used it as a weapon, hurling it at the Talus with all his strength. As expected, the Talus caught the attack with ease, but it held the egg with incredible care, as if terrified of breaking it. What's going on? Choi Hyeon-sik watched as the Talus stopped attacking. Is she trying to protect the egg? Rahel was silent for a few seconds. I think she likes what you threw at her. It's covered in slime. Choi Hyeon-sik looked down at the egg, and an idea flashed through his mind. Could this be a Talus egg? Choi Hyeon-sik grinned wide, then picked up another egg. The Talus instantly tensed up, and he struck a pose, deliberately throwing the egg far away from the monster. But the fiercely protective adult Talus still caught it. Incredible speed. So what's our next move? Choi Hyeon-sik smirked. Isn't it obvious? I've got over 100 eggs left. 10 minutes later, the adult Talus was panting from exhaustion. But even so, most of the eggs had not been saved. Alright, hand me the next egg. Choi Hyeon-sik held out his hand to Rahel. That was the last one. The news left Choi Hyeon-sik dumbstruck. We're in big trouble. No longer able to hold back, the furious adult Talus charged at them with terrifying speed. Buff me. Quick, give me a buff. Rahel obliged, making blue light flare along Choi Hyeon-sik's arm. She's already weak from catching eggs, so I can win this. Choi Hyeon-sik raised his fist and struck with all his might. As soon as they collided, the Talus's shell cracked in half, exposing stark white bone. I did it. I actually won. Choi Hyeon-sik was stunned. Are you okay, Mr. Hero? Was he okay? The second the buff wore off, Choi Hyeon-sik felt like his body was being crushed. It hurts like hell. Wait, I can use a healing spell. Rahel's hands glowed with dazzling light, and Choi Hyeon-sik's twisted wounds began to slowly knit together. Once healed, he immediately put all his new stat points into his attributes. But the very next second, a familiar voice called out from the depths of the cave. Choi Hyeon-sik looked up in surprise, and saw Culkin. Chef, you're alive too. Of course. Choi Hyeon-sik rolled his eyes, remembering how Culkin had run off. Why are you here? I found this cave while I was running away. Looks like we're both lucky. Culkin laughed heartily. But then Choi Hyeon-sik told him, this is the Talus nest. Those are Talus eggs. This place is their hatchery. Culkin stared at the eggs with hungry eyes. These are top-tier ingredients. Most people die before ever tasting them. We'd better run now. Choi Hyeon-sik couldn't help cursing. Culkin popped an egg into his mouth. That Talus queen chasing us might already be inside. It'd take at least a command squad to bring her down. So let's enjoy our last supper. As the two argued, the sound of footsteps echoed from outside. The kitchen soldiers had arrived. Is this really my last meal? Choi Hyeon-sik seethed with frustration. I haven't even gotten a wife in this new world. My story can't end here. Meanwhile, in Hemis's office, she summoned Raid Run. No need for all the formalities. How's the task I gave you coming along? As you ordered, I successfully captured the next Saintess. Just as I thought. I knew you could do it. In just about 3 weeks, Raid Run had already captured the Holy Empire's candidate Saintess. Well done. Hemis patted Raidrun on the head. But at that moment, the door was suddenly flung open. "Commander, urgent report. The cooks reported an accident while gathering ingredients. Doesn't that kind of thing happen every day? What's there to fuss about?" But this time the casualties are a bit severe. They ran into the Talus Queen. Most of the cooks, including head chef Culkin, are either dead or missing. Hemis stroked her chin thoughtfully. "What about Choi Hyeon-sik? He's missing as well." Listening to the report, Raidrun froze in shock. Choi Hyeon-sik is missing too? Back in the cave, Lord Culkin and the cooks were utterly absorbed in eating eggs. Choi Hyeon-sik let out a deep sigh, then smacked Culkin with a book. The sharp pain snapped him awake. "What are you doing? You seem to be under some kind of mysterious curse, so I woke you up this way." Choi Hyeon-sik made up an excuse, but in truth, he just couldn't stand seeing Culkin so out of it. As for the book in his hand, it was the Beast Encyclopedia that Choi Hyeon-sik had exchanged for 50 hero points at the shop. It recorded the details of nearly all demon beasts, even Talus. The entry read, "They are spider-shaped demon beasts with powerful leg muscles. To defeat a Talus, you must target its relatively weak spots, especially the torso and head. Talus bodily fluids are highly flammable, and their eggs contain an almost explosive liquid. Caves built with Talus saliva are also highly vulnerable to fire magic, so be careful not to use fire magic inside." After reading about the Talus's weaknesses, Choi Hyeon-sik shut the book. "Mr. Culkin, can you use fire magic?" Culkin turned to him, a little. "Just the basics, like fireballs." He sighed. "Forget it, my level of fire isn't enough to burn through a Talus's shell." Choi Hyeon-sik shot him a look, because burning Talus to death wasn't his plan at all. "Listen up, everyone. I have an escape plan." The goblin cook sighed. "Pointless struggle. We might as well stay here and keep eating eggs." Choi Hyeon-sik refused to give up and tried to motivate them. "If we make it out alive, you'll not only have Talus eggs to eat, I'll also treat you to unlimited deluxe barbecue feasts." The thought of barbecue finally reignited hope in the group. "Let's do it." Even Culkin quickly called out to Choi Hyeon-sik, drooling. "What's the plan?" Choi Hyeon-sik was momentarily speechless, but after a few seconds, he announced his plan. "All we do is run for the exit. No matter what happens, don't stop for anything. Go." With that, Choi Hyeon-sik dashed out in front, the rest closed behind. Unfortunately, they barely got started before running into a whole group of adult Talus. "Get ready, Mr. Culkin." Choi Hyeon-sik grabbed 2 eggs and hurled them with all his strength at the wall. Culkin cast fire magic at the same time. The Talus egg liquid exploded violently at the touch of flame, sending shockwaves that nearly destroyed the whole cave. The adult Talus, desperate to protect the remaining eggs, abandoned Choi Hyeon-sik to put out the fire first. While they're distracted, run for it. Even though everyone kept moving, the twisted tunnels made it tough to find an exit. Only 1 egg left. "We have to find the exit before it's used up." At the crucial moment, Rahel spotted a distant glimmer. "There's light over there. It's the exit." Dodging wave after wave of adult Talus attacks, Choi Hyeon-sik sprinted toward the light. They drew closer and closer. "We're almost out." But just as they were about to reach the exit, Choi Hyeon-sik stopped in shock. Because blocking their path was the enormous Talus Queen, her massive body sealing off the cave entrance. "It's over. The Talus Queen is back." Though her expression was furious, Choi Hyeon-sik noticed something strange. The queen wasn't attacking them. What's going on here? He guessed it might have something to do with the egg in his hand. Talus are fiercely maternal creatures. Without hesitation, Choi Hyeon-sik tore off a big piece of his sleeve and had Culkin set it on fire. Then he raised both the flaming cloth and the egg high above his head. "If this egg explodes, we'll all die here. But the cave will collapse, and all your offspring will die with us." Choi Hyeon-sik shouted, "If you don't want that, let us go." The Talus Queen flew into a rage, wanting to kill Choi Hyeon-sik on the spot. But her body's instinct to protect her offspring held her back. Seeing her hesitate, Choi Hyeon-sik shouted again. But instead of backing down, she let out an ear-splitting screech. Out of options, Choi Hyeon-sik ignited the Talus egg and hurled it deep into the cave. The instant it hit the wall, it exploded violently, making the entire cavern tremble. Is it going to collapse? Choi Hyeon-sik saw boulders raining down from above and instantly realized the cave was about to cave in. "Everyone, get outside," he yelled, sprinting for the exit. But just after he made it out, he suddenly stopped, because he heard the level-up notification. Rahel, totally confused, tried to drag him away, but couldn't budge him at all. As the cave kept collapsing, the level-up notifications kept ringing out. Choi Hyeon-sik was stunned. "Looks like all the Talus getting crushed here are giving their experience to me. Is it because I brought down the cave?" Not daring to linger any longer, Choi Hyeon-sik sprinted for the exit. But escaping past the Talus Queen was no small feat. He had no choice, though. Luckily, Culkin pulled out a treasured Talus egg, gazing at it longingly. "I'll use this egg to buy us a way out." Before he could finish, the Talus Queen's attack struck. Choi Hyeon-sik didn't hesitate. He slipped right under the queen. But just as he was about to escape, the Talus Queen spat a web from her mouth, snaring Choi Hyeon-sik's arm. It's over. I'm dead. The queen's next attack came without mercy, aiming straight for Choi Hyun-sik. But at that moment, a deep red silhouette stepped in front of him. It was Raidrun. Are you alright? Choi Hyun-sik was shocked. He couldn't understand why Raidrun was here. I knew you were still alive. Raidrun grinned. From here on out, I'm in charge. With that, a terrifying power erupted from him, instantly shattering the Talus Queen. Choi Hyun-sik was frozen in awe, so strong. The final result of this hunt, 99 cooks missing or dead, including head chef Kulkin. After the battle, Choi Hyun-sik returned to Bobo's room. If it weren't for Raidrun, we'd be dead. Rahel sighed, shaken from the brush with death. But Choi Hyun-sik quickly brought her back to reality. Enjoy the peace while it lasts. We're about to be doomed. My duel with Kirkin is coming up. Rahel protested. Haven't you grown so much? That cave collapse alone got you 75 levels. Choi Hyun-sik was now level 200, but his combat power was only 3,500, while his opponent had 6,000. But Choi Hyun-sik knew victory wasn't just about power levels. His sparring match with Galbakum was proof of that. Rahel nodded. Exactly. Battle isn't just about strength, it's about magic too. If you want to win at that level, you have to learn magic. Unfortunately, Choi Hyun-sik didn't know the first thing about it. Easy for you to say. Rahel changed tack, but you did use magic in the Talus Hatchery, didn't you? That left Choi Hyun-sik confused. I used magic? Was it then? While he was still puzzling it out, Raidrun walked in, startling Choi Hyun-sik. Sir, what brings you down to our lowly quarters? Raidrun got straight to the point. He wanted to take Choi Hyun-sik to see Commander Hemis. With Raidrun leading the way, they quickly arrived at Hemis's office. What wind blew you here, Raidrun? You're not usually one to visit me. Raidrun didn't waste time. Commander, let me train Choi Hyun-sik personally. Kirkin might be a squad leader, but lately I think he's really more on a vice commander's level. That made this fight extremely unfair for Choi Hyun-sik. Let me train him. I can help him reach his full potential. Choi Hyun-sik was stunned. Why is he doing this? He silently prayed Hemis wouldn't agree. But to his shock, Hemis didn't even hesitate. Thank you, sir. If you have no other business, please go. I have things to do. With no choice, Choi Hyun-sik could only bow to fate. Thank you, my great commander. We'll be going now. After they left, Hemis couldn't help but smile. She'd noticed that Choi Hyun-sik's strength had doubled in just a few days. A human growing this fast is truly fascinating. But it's a bit troubling too. If Raidrun helps him, Kirkin might actually lose. I absolutely can't let that happen. In her heart, Hemis already had the perfect plan. On the other side, Raidrun and Choi Hyun-sik quickly arrived at the training grounds. This is my private training arena. Choi Hyun-sik was stunned. Hemis actually gave him his own training ground. She must value this guy a lot. Raidrun stopped in his tracks and stared intensely at Choi Hyun-sik, noticing the huge amount of magic power inside him, even though he still didn't know how to use it. Choi Hyun-sik felt a chill under Raidrun's gaze, not knowing what he wanted. I should start with the basics, but there are only 4 days until the duel. We don't have much time. Suddenly, Raidrun spun around, clenching his fists. He decided to push Choi Hyun-sik to his limits to force out his potential. Pain is part of growth. Choi Hyun-sik had no time to react. Raidrun's heavy fist struck him head-on. What's wrong with this guy? Has he lost his mind? Isn't he supposed to be training me? Why attack me out of nowhere? Without hesitation, Raidrun advanced again, fists raised. Lock with everything you've got or you'll die. Warned, Choi Hyun-sik raised his arms to defend, but even so, the force sent him flying several meters. Strange, his physical strength isn't great, but his reaction speed and awareness are impressive. His mental fortitude is exceptional. Raidrun guessed that the first time they met, it wasn't an accident that he failed to dodge Choi Hyun-sik's kick. This kid has a lot of real combat experience. Raidrun charged at Choi Hyun-sik. That bet you made with Commander Hemis. If you can't use magic, there's no way you'll beat Kirkin. Better to die here than embarrass yourself in front of everyone. Raidrun's brutal blow sent Choi Hyun-sik flying again. He's not kidding. If I take another hit, I'll really die. Raidrun balled his fists, ready to strike again. He was sure Choi Hyun-sik could use magic if forced. Damn it, here goes. I can't die, not before I marry a wife in another world. Choi Hyun-sik clenched his own fists and charged at Raidrun. Suddenly, a bright blue magic aura wrapped around his hand. Their attacks landed simultaneously, and the collision of their magic sent a massive shockwave through the ground. After that strike, Choi Hyun-sik was completely spent and collapsed onto the ground. Raidrun walked over. Did you notice? You just used magic. Even now, Choi Hyun-sik couldn't help but suck up. That's all thanks to your teaching, sir. Raidrun grabbed his hand. Good. Keep this up, and you'll have a chance. Raidrun began healing Choi Hyun-sik. But the moment his magic entered Choi Hyun-sik's body, Choi Hyun-sik's eyes went wide in agony. Damn it. Choi Hyun-sik coughed blood and thrashed, barely able to breathe. Oh no, I forgot you're human. Raidrun's eyes went wide with fear. Black magic is like poison to humans. He apologized frantically, scooping Choi Hyun-sik up. Right now, only a saint can save you. In this world, power is cyclical, black magic counters magic counters holy power, and holy power counters black magic. Magic is for humans, black magic is for the demons, and holy power is for those who worship the gods. Most famous of all is the Holy Gaetran Empire, whose people can even hear the voice of God. And within the empire, one outstanding woman is chosen as the Sanctus. At the 3rd Legion headquarters, a human woman was locked in a deep cell. Her long silver hair reached her waist, her skin was snow white, and her eyes matched her silvery hair. Her features were so exquisite, just looking at her was breathtaking. But for some reason, her eyes were lifeless, like a dead fish. Her name was Abelson Marriott, the next Sanctus of the Gaetran Holy Empire. She had been captured by Raedron not long ago and imprisoned here, not having prayed for days. To be a Sanctus, you must hear the voice of God. She could, but here, she saw no point in seeking him. None of it mattered. As Abelson stared off into space, the door suddenly opened. Raedron entered, panting, clearly having rushed here. Seeing his anxious face, Abelson was surprised. The ruthless red nightmare Raedron never showed emotion. What's going on? Save this human, quickly, Raedron shouted, desperate. Choi Hyun-sik had slipped into unconsciousness, his head feeling like it was splitting open. He remembered being struck by Raedron and falling. Damn, am I really going to die holding a man's hand? Choi Hyun-sik thought bitterly. If I'm going to die, it should be holding a woman's hand, even Rahel's would do. As he brooded, a warm power filled him. He cautiously opened his eyes and saw a goddess before him. She had silver hair and eyes, her face expressionless and silent. I must be dead, and about to reincarnate again, Choi Hyun-sik thought, utterly convinced. Goddess, I'll never forgive you, or Rahel, that angel-faced demon. And if you want me to be a hero again, you'll have to marry me first. A hint of sadness flickered across the Saintess's face. How pitiful, dying single in 2 lives. Before Choi Hyun-sik could savor her sweet voice, Raedron burst in, you're finally awake. He hugged Choi Hyun-sik with tears in his eyes, squeezing hard enough to make Choi Hyun-sik feel like he was about to explode. If this keeps up, I'll die again. Raedron hurriedly let go. After a few seconds, Choi Hyun-sik caught his breath and looked around. The angel was still there. Wait, is she real, not a vision? Oh no, what did I just say to her? Is he fully recovered? Raedron asked anxiously. Abelson shook her head. I can't say for sure. You noticed, didn't you? The black magic hasn't completely left his body. I don't know what will happen next. Raedron was stunned for a few seconds. Even your holy power can't drive it out? It might just be temporary. With time, the black magic may dissipate on its own. So let's wait and see. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you with training. Raedron hugged Choi Hyun-sik tightly again. No, sir, you really don't need to do that for a lowly subordinate like me. Before Choi Hyun-sik could finish, Raedron dragged him out of the room. The Sanctus was left behind, puzzled. Which demon is actually training a human? Who is that guy, really? After leaving the Sanctus's room, Choi Hyun-sik refused further training, using the excuse that he needed to feed Bobo. Thanks for helping me out, Bobo. I heard you already ate a soldier who tried to feed you, so you probably don't need another meal today, right? Although Choi Hyun-sik no longer had to worry about being beaten to death by Raedron during training, he still had black magic lingering in his body. This shouldn't be a big problem, right? It's not enough to kill me. As he said this, he glanced over at Rahel, only to see her sitting on the ground in tears. She'd overheard every word Choi Hyun-sik said to Abelson. She never expected her hero would actually wish her to go to hell. This is all my fault. The black magic in your body, you almost dying, it's because of me. I'm an angel wearing a demon's mask, so I should suffer in hell forever. Choi Hyun-sik suddenly realized his words had been a bit too much, so he went over to comfort Rahel. All right, Rahel, don't be mad. I can't do without you, my little buff spirit. Shut up, I don't want to hear it. Time quickly passed to the next day. As usual, Choi Hyun-sik went to Raedron's private training ground, where he was beaten half to death. Saintess Abelson naturally became Choi Hyun-sik's dedicated healer. Thank you for healing me. Before tomorrow's duel, I'd like to ask you a favor. Choi Hyun-sik scratched his head awkwardly. Could you pray that I don't die tomorrow? And if possible, I'd like to invite you to come watch the duel. In the blink of an eye, duel day arrived. Due to the intense training, Choi Hyun-sik's body ached everywhere, but he felt calm. In other words, he'd grown stronger. Yet the audience didn't have high hopes. After all, humans were naturally at a physical disadvantage compared to demons. Raedron, who do you think will win? Hemis asked from the stands. Choi Hyun-sik. He's exceptionally talented and has trained hard. Raedron replied without hesitation. Want to bet on it? If you win, I'll let you keep training him. Hemis clearly didn't believe in Choi Hyun-sik. But if you lose, I expect you to kill him yourself. You said you believed in him, so you need to stand by your words. Understood. Raedron had no choice but to agree, instantly feeling nervous. He didn't want Choi Hyun-sik to die. I will win. Choi Hyun-sik was full of confidence, because under Raidrun's training, he'd mastered a brand new skill, Raidrun martial arts. It was a dynamic style made up of 10 types of fist techniques, modified from the Khouten combat arts passed down in Raidrun's clan. It focused on overwhelming power to subdue the opponent. Though his mastery was still low, Choi Hyun-sik's physical strength had grown a lot through training. I have to win, there's a silver-haired saint watching me. While Choi Hyun-sik was lost in thought, his opponent, the orc Kirkin, took the stage. A surge of demonic energy radiated from Kirkin, clearly on par with Hemis's own. Raidrun tensed up as he saw the energy pouring off Kirkin. No backing out, understood? Hemis said with a bright smile. The duel began. Black mist poured from Kirkin, and with a roar full of magical power, his voice shook the arena. His combat power soared to a terrifying 10,573. What's going on? How did he grow so much in just a few days? Choi Hyun-sik was stunned, unaware that this was Hemis's doing. But he didn't flinch. Clenching his fists, he charged straight at Kirkin. Just as he got close, Kirkin swung his massive iron club, smashing a huge fissure into the ground with terrifying force. Choi Hyun-sik twisted his body, dodging the blow, then counterattacked from another angle, slamming his fist into Kirkin's face. But the punch wasn't enough to do serious damage, so Choi Hyun-sik followed up with another strike. To his surprise, even after taking such a powerful hit, Kirklin didn't budge an inch. He swung his club in retaliation, almost smashing Choi Hyun-sik's left arm. After dodging, Choi Hyun-sik looked up at Kirkin. Apart from a smear of blood, he didn't seem hurt at all. Before he could think further, Kirkin charged at him at incredible speed. But to Choi Hyun-sik, the moves were predictable. Thanks to Raidrun's training, he could now read every motion. Don't panic, Choi Hyun-sik recalled. The art of battle is the fusion of martial skill and magic. That's what makes your attacks truly lethal. A fight isn't just about raw power, it's about kill intent and fighting technique. Raidrun had told him not to use his old fighting methods, since he never truly intended to kill, making his attacks meaningless. I get it now, it has to be a killing blow. Clenching his fist, Choi Hyun-sik's hand glowed with bright blue light. No matter who stands before me, I'll take them down. With magic-charged Raidrun-style martial arts, he landed a precise hit to Kirkin's abdomen. The force of the blow sent a shockwave through Kirkin, shaking the very earth beneath them. When the dust cleared, Kirkin reappeared, a huge hole blasted through his heart by Choi Hyun-sik's attack. Today's winner, the weak human, Choi Hyun-sik. When the announcer proclaimed the result of the fight, Choi Hyun-sik collapsed to the ground, exhausted. That last strike had drained nearly all his magic. I did it. I pierced right through his heart. But just as everyone thought it was over, a web-like substance began to ooze from Kirklin's wound, slowly filling the hole in his chest. This strange, unnatural power was clearly not something a being like Kirkin should possess. His heart's destroyed and he's still not dead? No way, that must be Hemis's doing. Choi Hyun-sik quickly realized. She put a black magic curse on Kirkin, a spell of immortality. Raidrun watched with bated breath for Choi Hyun-sik, while Hemis wore a smug smile. To master such a martial art in so short a time, his talent is astonishing. But I expected as much. Within seconds, Kirkin was back on his feet. What the hell? Is that a curse? Rahel was bewildered. But if it's a curse, it can't last forever. Drooling, Kirkin charged forward again. Choi Hyun-sik studied his movements, and found they were identical to before. Dodging this is too easy. But just as he was about to sidestep, his legs suddenly gave out at the worst moment. Unable to react, Choi Hyun-sik was slammed into the wall by Kirkin like a bullet. Forced to grab onto his attacker's arm, he twisted with all his might. Even as he heard bones snap, Kirkin showed no sign of pain, and hurled Choi Hyun-sik away with brutal strength. The force was so great, Choi Hyun-sik nearly blacked out. Damn, I can feel whole sections of my bones are broken. Get up. You can do this. From the audience, Abelson spoke up for the first time, calling out to Choi Hyun-sik. Right, it's not over yet. Bolstered by her encouragement, Choi Hyun-sik forced himself to his feet, trembling but determined. I can't embarrass myself in front of the girl I asked out. I haven't even gone on a date with her yet. As he spoke, a surge of magic erupted from his body. If my bones are broken, I'll just coat them in magic, make myself a suit of armor. Strengthened by magic, Choi Hyun-sik moved once more. He leapt high, gathering all his magic into his fists. His fists crashed down on Kirkin's skull, nearly shattering it. But even so, Kirkin still didn't die. Once again, black mist erupted from his body. Choi Hyun-sik simply watched him with utter calm, his mind focused only on victory and that date. He raised his hand. It's just my job. Come on, muscle pig. With that, another fist smashed into Kirkin's head. Did you teach him that kind of magic control? Hemis asked Raidrun, uncertain, but he shook his head. That made her instantly uneasy. We'd better be careful, he's a monster. For her to use that word, the danger was clear. It meant that, in her eyes, only the Demon King himself was beyond comparison. The duel was declared over soon after. When Choi Hyun-sik came to, he was back in Bobo's quarters. So what happened with the duel? He couldn't remember the end, only that he'd been beating the hell out of Kirkin. You won, and the saint has healed you, Rahel answered. Choi Hyun-sik quickly checked his hero system. He gained 12 levels from the fight, his stats had grown a lot, and he'd unlocked a brand new skill, magic control. Even the well-traveled angel Rahel had never heard of such a skill. No wonder you haven't. Choi Hyun-sik couldn't help jabbing at her. What's that supposed to mean? It's because the skill is rare, okay? Not because I'm ignorant. While they bickered, Choi Hyun-sik noticed a small note lying beside him. Meanwhile, after healing Choi Hyun-sik, the Sanctus returned to her room. She gazed out the window. That man is so strange. He mastered magic in 3 days, and even learned advanced fighting techniques. For most knights, that would take at least a month. His potential is unfathomable. Abelson rubbed her hands together. She'd prayed to God just days before. Maybe this is heaven's answer, or maybe it's just Choi Hyun-sik's own talent. But it doesn't matter. He won the duel, and maybe he really is the one I've been searching for. With that, Abelson walked to the door and knocked. Saintus, what do you want? Abelson bit her lip. I'd like to ask a favor. I want to go for a walk. Meanwhile, back in Bobo's room, Choi Hyun-sik opened the note. To his surprise, it was actually from the Saintess. She invited me for a walk in the back garden. Choi Hyun-sik was so excited he trembled all over. Without hesitating, he hurried to the appointed spot. Should I ask for her phone number? Or should we exchange letters? It was late at night, and Rahel was clearly annoyed. Don't be stupid, she's just messing with you. Let's go back. Before she could finish, Choi Hyun-sik nervously scooped her up, having sensed movement in the distance. He turned, and there was Abelson, accompanied by 2 minotaurs. This annoyed Choi Hyun-sik, who thought he was getting a private date with the Sanctus. They're my guards. I'm not allowed to be alone. After Abelson explained, Choi Hyun-sik realized she was actually being held prisoner by the Demon King's army. Let's walk for a bit. With the minotaurs glaring, Choi Hyun-sik was so nervous he barely dared speak. You're a hero, aren't you? Abelson turned to him. Choi Hyun-sik froze, then nodded. How did you know? In our world, only demons or heroes have black hair. Your performance in the duel yesterday was impressive, so I assumed you were a hero. Her praise made Choi Hyun-sik blush with embarrassment. Can I ask you something, too? What do you think of me? A look of deep confusion appeared on Abelson's face, a rare emotion for her. What on earth is this guy talking about? Just as the air was getting painfully awkward, Raedron's voice rang out in the distance. His arrival broke the tension. There you are. The Legion commander wants to see you. It was a bolt from the blue. Choi Hyun-sik's hard-won date was cut short just like that. Raedron brought him to Hemis's office. Well done. Hemis sat cross-legged on her desk, looking him over. I watched that duel closely. Your recent achievements are impressive. She snapped her fingers. Do you remember the suggestion I made to you? Choi Hyun-sik nodded quickly. Yes, you said I had to duel a designated opponent, and in exchange you'd protect me for a time. That's right, and then? Hemis pressed. You said I should become a demon officer and work here. Hemis nodded in satisfaction. Now I'll tell you, that was just an excuse. I didn't expect you to live this long, so my plans have changed. She pointed at Raedron. You said he'd make an excellent demon officer, so this time, I think we should try something different. No more duels. Hemis got down from her desk and slowly approached. You know, our unit has an independent cooking corps. The last battle devastated them, and now the higher-ups can't even get a proper meal. Starting today, you'll be commander of this unit. I'll give you the authority to recruit as many cooks as you want. Can you handle that? With Hemis's order, Choi Hyun-sik knew he didn't have a choice. Leave it to me. Congratulations on your promotion, you're a company commander now, Rahel teased. A human hero, now an officer in the demon army. Are you happy? Yeah, it feels amazing, Choi Hyun-sik shot back. They kept bickering as they headed to the Legion kitchen. But as soon as Choi Hyun-sik pushed open the door, he heard a greedy munching sound inside. Looking down, he saw a cook shoveling food into his mouth. The cook recognized him. Hey, it's the barbecue slave. Slave? Choi Hyun-sik bristled instantly at the insult, flexing his numb foot. Friend, you're mistaken. As of today, I'm your head chef. With that, he kicked the guy hard in the face. After venting his frustration, Choi Hyun-sik gathered all the kitchen soldiers. Most of them had combat power around 2,000, with the strongest at 3,500. Choi Hyun-sik couldn't help but wonder, why are there so few kitchen soldiers? Isn't there supposed to be 300 to 500? There aren't even 30 here. But he had to follow Hemis's orders, or risk being killed on the spot. Choi Hyun-sik put on a calm front. Does anyone here know who I am? The group murmured various answers. Some said Choi Hyun-sik, some called him the grilling guy, and one goblin raised his hand. You're all wrong. He's a tasty human. That goblin got a kick to the wall for his trouble. Yeah, I'm a tasty human, you idiot. Choi Hyun-sik took out the letter of appointment from Hemis. The commander has appointed me head of the kitchen corps. From now on, you treat me like a king. Now, who can tell me why there are so few people here? A soldier raised his hand. They all went hunting and got killed by monsters. Choi Hyun-sik took it in stride. After all, the strongest cook, Culkin, died fighting the Talus Queen, so it was no surprise the rest couldn't handle monsters. Who's the strongest one here now? Gollum, everyone said, pointing at the goblin Choi Hyansik had just beat up. Since he was the strongest, Choi Hyansik made him deputy head cook. Alright, if there's nothing else, dismissed. Choi Hyansik sat alone in the corner, figuring the kitchen needed at least 200 people. Well, that leaves only one option. At dawn, Choi Hyansik left his quarters with Bobo. He already had a great recruiting plan. Scare new recruits with Bobo, join the kitchen corps or get eaten by Bobo. Let's start with that one. He walked up and kicked a soldier in the face. With a combat power of only 1,931, the guy was easy to handle. Hey, Mole Man, you want to join the kitchen corps? Mole? Me? The soldier looked around, pointing at himself. Yeah, you, Mole Man. I'm talking to you. Another kick. The Mole Man sat down, aggrieved. Why are you hitting me before I even answer? You're our first new recruit today. Know what that means? Choi Hyansik sighed. It means you outrank anyone who joins after you. You can abuse your power, or find scapegoats for your mistakes. Scapegoat? The Mole Man looked baffled, his simple mind unable to keep up. Yeah, you can go bring all your friends. If you get 10 to join, I'll make one of them your direct subordinate. Choi Hyansik's plan was perfect. He might just build a whole division this way. What he didn't know was that the Mole Man was from an independent battalion, and word quickly reached the battalion commander, the demon Doris. Sir, bad news, all our soldiers are disappearing. Why? Doris picked up a handkerchief elegantly. Are they deserting? Did the troops run off? He didn't think he'd treated his men so badly they'd all flee. It's not desertion. They've all been recruited as cooks. I see. Doris sighed in relief, leaning back in his chair. Recruiting kitchen staff is normal. I'll let it slide, just tell them to be more careful next time. Doris had no intention of making a fuss. No, this is serious. The soldier wailed, voice cracking. He's already taken 200 of our men. At that number, Doris's calm shattered instantly. Meanwhile, Choi Hyansik was still busy recruiting. We've already got over 200 cooks. Maybe it's time to stop? But as soon as he said that, he sensed something was off. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed something alarming. Didn't I tell them to bring a comrade? Why did this guy bring a pig? Wait, something's not right. He checked with the combat level meter, and was stunned, damn, unmeasurable. This guy's combat power is over 50,000. Let's quietly wrap this up and get out of here. But he hadn't taken 2 steps before Doris called out to him. He could only turn back, forcing a calm smile. Yes, sir, what brings you here? Doris introduced himself as the 3rd Legion's independent battalion commander, then began his interrogation. You're asking what brings me here? You really don't know? What exactly are you thinking? He pointed to the newly recruited soldiers. Why did you take half my battalion's men? Choi Hyansik was floored. He hadn't realized they all came from the same unit. Let me explain, sir. Damn, no wonder this went so smoothly. A few minutes later, Choi Hyansik was dragged to Doris's office. You're saying you didn't do this on purpose? Choi Hyansik nodded furiously and started flattering him. That's right, sir. I just picked out the bravest-looking soldiers, and it just so happened they were all from your battalion. Doris couldn't help but feel pleased. Commander Hemis likes this guy, so I'd better not make a big deal out of it. With that, he put on a smile. If that's how you recruit, we'll just have to accept it. Is this really okay? Choi Hyansik was overjoyed but knew things couldn't be that simple. Sure enough, Doris spoke up the next second. But I have one condition. Take one more soldier from our battalion and we'll call it even. Choi Hyansik guessed Doris wanted to dump a loser on him. What? You don't want to? Doris's murderous aura flared when Choi Hyansik hesitated. No, I'm just very happy. Choi Hyansik dashed out of the office. Just introduce him to me later. Not long after he returned to his own office, the door burst open and a hulking giant appeared. His name was Yuzaru, a half-ogre, half-beastman hybrid. Choi Hyansik looked up and saw his combat power was immeasurable. This guy looks dumb, but he's super strong. I'll have to make good use of him. The next day, Choi Hyansik gathered all his kitchen soldiers again. Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Bobo's caretaker and head of the kitchen. He then explained his plan. The department would be reorganized. He'd prepared a roster and had them line up accordingly. Choi Hyansik noticed that while the orcs all had similar intelligence, their combat power varied wildly. So he organized them by strength, assigning the weaker ones to kitchen duty and the stronger ones to hunting. A few minutes later, they were in 2 neat lines as ordered. Cooks on the right, combat squad on the left. Any objections? Just then, a short, scrawny beastman raised his hand. I object. I want to go hunting. I want to eat fresh meat. Choi Hyansik just smiled awkwardly and beckoned him over. The beastman soldier didn't get it, shuffled forward, and got kicked flying by Choi Hyansik. You want to go out? Pass my test first. Clearly, you failed. Just as he finished, the hero system chimed in. You've demonstrated outstanding leadership by organizing and stabilizing your troops. Hidden stat charisma increased. Command skill level up. Choi Hyun-sik's eyes widened. That's a total surprise bonus. Anyone else have objections? He raised his fist. If not, combat squad, grab your weapons. Time to hunt. Led by Choi Hyun-sik, the combat squad headed for the northern forest. But to his surprise, there wasn't a single magic beast in sight. Maybe it's because of Bobo or Yuzaru? They're so strong they scare everything away, Rahel suggested. Choi Hyun-sik thought that made sense, but he couldn't leave his two powerhouses behind. Suddenly, Rahel seemed to have an idea and clapped her hands. She looked at Choi Hyun-sik with a sly grin. Let's use them as bait. My god, she really is a devil. Choi Hyun-sik picked 5 soldiers using his old lottery numbers from Earth to serve as bait. Fighting back tears, he ordered Yuzaru to throw the numbered soldiers out. Number 14, let's go. Using the weaklings as bait should lure out some prey, right? He even had his men light torches so the bait could find their way back by the smoke. Will they really make it back alive? Rahel asked, confused. Of course, Choi Hyun-sik grinned evilly. Out of 6, at least 1 will survive, including Yuzaru. Everyone thought he was crazy. If we go, we're dead for sure. But when they tried to run, they turned to find Bobo already waiting behind them, ready to enforce orders. Despite their reluctance, Choi Hyun-sik was calm. Either do as I say, or go play in Bobo's stomach. No surprise, the poor soldiers chose the first option. Maybe dying was better than certain death. Sure enough, after just 2 minutes, the bait soldiers returned with several magic beasts. Let the soldiers handle it. I'm just here for the last hit. Before he could finish, Yuzaru roared and charged in, wielding his weapon and smashing it down with terrifying force. What kind of power is that? Choi Hyun-sik was dumbfounded. With a single blow, Yuzaru shattered a giant beast. Bobo was just as bad. How is this even fair? Not only did they steal the last hit, they even pulverized all the meat. Tomorrow, I'll leave those 2 behind. I'm out for today. See you all tomorrow. Back at his quarters, Choi Hyun-sik soon headed for the kitchen. After working himself up, he stormed in and kicked the door open. Are you slacking off again? Is dinner ready? The deputy head cook rushed over. It's almost done, but today's meat is a bit shredded. Choi Hyun-sik's face darkened. A craftsman never blames his tools. Yes, sir, I'll get right on it. Even so, Choi Hyun-sik knew in his heart that with these cook skills, even a passing dog would cover its nose at the food. But that was fine. He'd already come up with a solution. Ordinary soldiers could eat what the cooks made. Only officers and above would get his own cooking. This not only solved the production problem, but would also help him win over the higher-ups. After finishing the barbecue, the first thing Choi Hyun-sik did was find Abelson, because she had helped him so much in the duel, and he wanted to thank her with some tender grilled meat. Thank you, just a little is enough. Abelson picked up a piece of barbecue, and the rich aroma hit her immediately. The smell was far better than she'd expected. When she put it in her mouth and started chewing, the taste completely stunned her. It was the best food she'd eaten since arriving at the Demon King's Black Castle. In no time, Abelson had polished off the entire serving. Afterward, Choi Hyun-sik picked up the plate, ready to leave, but just then, Abelson spoke up. She asked Choi Hyun-sik if he had anything he wanted to do after leaving the Demon King's castle. Get married and have kids, Choi Hyun-sik blurted out. Abelson was taken aback, having expected a hero to have loftier ambitions. I see. You can go now. Choi Hyun-sik, a little embarrassed, wiggled his finger, then turned the question back to Abelson. Me? I don't want to do anything at all. After thinking for a long time, she answered in a calm voice. Meanwhile, back in the Gaetern Empire, a subordinate hurried in to report that they had located Saintess Abelson. She was being held in the Black Castle. Because of their fear of the gluttonous Hemis, the Empire didn't dare send an army openly. In all of human history, the Black Castle had only been conquered 3 times, and each time was when Hemis was absent. After thinking for a moment, the Pope came up with an excellent plan. Summon our heroes. Send them as a secret rescue team. The next morning, Choi Hyun-sik assembled the soldiers for a hunt. But Abelson's words, I don't want to do anything, lingered in his mind. Why does she think like that? Still troubled by this question, Choi Hyun-sik began the day's hunt. After going deep into the forest, he raised a hand to signal the team to halt, then called all the squad leaders forward. 10 squad leaders, 10 people in all. They glanced nervously at Choi Hyun-sik's expression. What's he planning this time? At least Yuzaru's not around, so he probably won't throw anyone into the woods today. But today, Choi Hyun-sik was unusually generous. He pulled out several large pieces of seasoned barbecue from his pack. Everyone, take a bite. What are you waiting for? Eat or go feed yourselves to Bobo. We'll eat. With tears in their eyes, the squad leaders stuffed the meat into their mouths, devouring fist-sized chunks in less than a minute. Head chef, what is this? It's incredible. The squad leader's eyes brimmed with tears, weeping openly. We made the right choice becoming cooks. The head chef is a great man. We'll work hard from now on. Please, just one more piece. They shouted, red-faced with excitement. But Choi Hyun-sik just wagged his finger. Your gourmet trial is over. Now for the real game. Go out and bring back live magic beasts. The squad with the most captures will get to dine with me today. Still standing there? Get moving. At his words, the scramble for fresh meat began, a battle for barbecue glory. The squad leaders charged ahead, desperate for another taste. Humph, all creatures are slaves to their own desires. By the end of the day, Choi Hyeon-sik had leveled up to 224. Head chef, who won today? Turning around, Choi Hyeon-sik announced the wolf squad as the winners. They'll get to eat barbecue with me, and the rest, better luck next time. Meanwhile, in the Black Castle, a swath of demon soldiers lay dead in pools of blood, all slain by a single person. Soon after, the intruder reached the room where Saintess Abelson was kept, and pulled down their hood. Saintess Abelson, I've come to rescue you. It was Geffen, a hero sent by the Pope's secret rescue team from the Holy Empire. But to his surprise, after explaining his mission, Abelson refused to go and insisted he leave. Geffen just laughed, scratched his head, and slowly approached Abelson, explaining that this was his mission and he had to finish it. But Abelson remained unmoved, and brought up the glutton Hemis. If you don't leave right now, I'll use holy power to summon her. But before she finished, Geffen's fist slammed into Abelson's stomach. Take a nap. Next time you wake up, you'll be back in the Empire. He choked her hard, a wave of dizziness overwhelming Abelson. How does he have holy power? No, I can't go back there. Just as Abelson was about to black out, a fist crashed into Geffen's face. Get your filthy hands off her, you bastard. It was Choi Hyeon-sik, putting everything he had into the punch, but Geffen didn't even budge. A guy with black magic in his body? Interesting. But you look more human than demon. Geffen sneered, decent move, but your magic's way too weak. Before he finished, Choi Hyeon-sik attacked again, this time with a burst of magic in his fists. His speed took Geffen by surprise, piquing his interest. He decided he'd bring Choi Hyeon-sik back to the Empire too. Geffen blocked the attack and countered, the force of his blow making Choi Hyeon-sik cough blood and collapse unconscious. Did I kill him? Maybe he'd lost control from sudden rage. Rahel, hiding nearby, was stunned. He one-shot my hero? Maybe I should go get Bobo. After confirming Choi Hyeon-sik wasn't dead, Geffen pulled out a scroll from his pocket. A high-level holy magic scroll, just in case. But suddenly, a powerful female voice called from behind. What's happening here? Do you need my help? It was Hemis. I didn't sense her at all. Geffen forced down his shock and spun around. Glutton, Hemis. That's not very polite. Gourmet is a much better title for me. Hemis teased with a bright smile. In stark contrast, Geffen was drenched in cold sweat. Can I win? The Pope had warned him again and again never to fight the glutton, but Geffen had secretly scoffed at those warnings. But now, facing the glutton in person, he finally understood why the Pope was so insistent. You couldn't sense any magic at all, not even with her right in front of you. That was a terrible sign. It meant the power gap was insurmountable. But Geffen had beaten plenty of foes stronger than himself. He wanted to test himself again. In a heartbeat, Hemis's terrifying power crashed down on Geffen like a raging storm. Don't panic, stay focused, find the right moment to escape with the Sanctus. But as he tried to think, his mind suddenly spun. His arm had been sliced off before he even realized. When did that happen? Geffen froze. Come on, entertain me a little. Hemis opened her jaws wide. Geffen realized he was finished. Forget rescuing the Sanctus, he might not even survive. Accepting his failure, he bit down on the scroll in his mouth. A burst of holy light erupted, the scroll's magic activating. Such pure holy power would instantly incinerate any ordinary demon or monster. But Hemis, standing right there, only frowned slightly. Trying to run? Not staying to play a little longer. In a blink, Geffen had vanished without a trace. He's pretty good at running away. In fact, Hemis had let him go on purpose. If she truly wanted to kill him, Geffen would have died thousands of times in a single minute. The demons had been on the continent for over 500 years, countless came and went, in endless cycles. But there were only two exceptions, the Demon King and Hemis, standing like mountains above all others. The Demon King was almost never seen in public, but Hemis was another matter entirely. All the casualties this time were Raedron's underlings. He's going to be heartbroken. Time flew by, and soon it was the next day. Choi Hyeon-sik once again underwent Raedron's training. Your attack style and your use of magic are still as simple and straightforward as ever. Your imagination is limited, so your movements end up stiff and monotonous. Raedron pointed out Choi Hyeon-sik's flaws, but then changed his tone. No matter how strong you are, there will always be someone stronger. So for victory's sake, there's nothing wrong with using any means necessary. With Raedron's guidance, today's training was officially over. As soon as he left, Choi Hyeon-sik collapsed onto the ground. I'm dead, someone save me. With Rahel's angelic healing, Choi Hyeon-sik's condition finally improved. So now I'm nothing more than a bottle of healing potion to you. Is that it? But while Rahel complained, Choi Hyeon-sik's mind was still on Abelson. I have nothing to tell you. Get stronger, Choi Hyeon-sik. Only with enough power can you hold on to your beliefs. Saintess Abelson said I need to become stronger. Choi Hyeon-sik's ill-timed words instantly provoked Rahel's jealousy. You're still thinking about that woman? You nearly died for her. You know, saying disrespectful things about the Santis will get you punished by God. As the two bickered, Rahel voiced her doubts. That blonde assassin could use holy power too, so why would he attack the Sanctus, who's supposed to be on the same side? Choi Hyun-sik nodded in agreement. As the next Sanctus, she should be extremely valuable. Anyway, let's stop talking about the Sanctus. Why? Is it because you like her? Choi Hyun-sik covered his ears. Enough, stop being jealous. A few dozen minutes later, Choi Hyun-sik was sprawled on his dorm bed, sobbing. My life is over. I don't want to be human in my next life. Bobo watched him, utterly confused. Worried about that idiot? You probably think of him as your master now. To ease Bobo's confusion, Rahel recounted what had happened 10 minutes earlier. Back then, Choi Hyun-sik had been summoned to Hemis's office. I have a very serious problem right now. I'm bored. Hemis's words made Choi Hyun-sik shudder. What is she up to now? I want to see something interesting. I'll give you 1 month, go defeat the battalion commander. Seeing Choi Hyun-sik's troubled expression, Hemis held up her fingers to show that if he didn't think he could do it, she could help him the same way she'd helped Kirkin. No need at all, I'll carry out your request perfectly. After explaining everything to Bobo, Rahel didn't forget to twist the knife. Say your goodbyes, Bobo. You won't be seeing him much longer. Then she fluttered over to Choi Hyun-sik. Just accept it. You've only got 9,000 combat power and you think you can beat a battalion commander? I'm already miserable enough. I wouldn't mind dragging someone down with me. Choi Hyun-sik groaned and buried his head in his arms. Anyone who could become a battalion commander generally had at least 40,000 combat power. Looking at Bobo, whose strength was now immeasurable, Choi Hyun-sik couldn't help but sigh. If only you could fight in my place. But this is probably going to be a duel. Suddenly, Choi Hyun-sik had a realization. Wait, Hemis never actually said this had to be a duel. After clarifying with Rahel, Choi Hyun-sik confirmed Hemis hadn't demanded a duel, which meant he could use any method to win: ambush, ganging up, even bringing Bobo, or luring the commander out and ganging up on him with Bobo and the others. Should I call you clever, or just a coward? Rahel shook her head at his plan. But now a tricky problem presented itself: how to lure the commander out. For Choi Hyun-sik, though, this was no problem at all. He just needed to pick out some ribs, soak them in honey to draw out the blood, slice up some mushrooms, add seasonings and garlic, and of course, finish with a dash of soy sauce fish. Throw it all in the pot, simmer on low heat for 2 hours, and then it burned. Damn it. Still, Choi Hyun-sik salvaged the unburned parts, and sprinkled some chopped scallions on top. Perfect. With a dish this delicious, there's not a commander alive who could refuse. Meanwhile, over at the camp, the peace-loving Commander Doris was enjoying his food as usual, finally free of the troublemaker Yuzaru, and enjoying true tranquility at last. But just then, a subordinate came to report that head chef Choi Hyun-sik was requesting an audience. Doris didn't even think before waving it off. Tell him it's impossible if he's here to return Yuzaru. But the soldier shook his head at Doris's order. No, sir, he says he's here to thank you, and wants to personally cook you a meal. At the word cook, Doris's eyes went round as saucers. Rumor had it that Choi Hyun-sik's barbecue could even conquer Hemis's taste buds. So he immediately ordered Choi Hyun-sik to be let in. No sooner had the soldier left, than Choi Hyun-sik walked in carrying a huge platter, even clenching a red rose between his teeth for extra flair. Lord Doris, long time no see. Doris's face turned red at the sight, but he quickly realized something was off and forced himself to act composed. I hear you're here to say thank you. Yes, sir. Thanks to your help a month ago, I was able to become head chef. Choi Hyun-sik set the platter before Doris. To express my gratitude to Lord Doris, I've specially prepared this dish for you. I hope you enjoy it. But Doris wasn't listening to a word. His eyes were glued to the food on the table. He grabbed a chunk of rib without hesitation, the aroma making it impossible to resist. All talk of gratitude forgotten, he was nearly driven mad by curiosity about the taste. Doris shoved the meat into his mouth and began to savor it slowly. Moments later, an unflattering sound emerged from the pig's mouth. It's too good, I can't take it. A flicker of murderous intent flashed across Choi Hyun-sik's face. Gone in an instant, Doris didn't notice. This meat is really amazing, Doris said, cheeks flushed, suddenly embarrassed by his earlier lack of composure. As long as you like it. Choi Hyun-sik forced a pleasant smile, one so convincing anyone would believe his happiness was genuine. Then I'll be taking my leave. Choi Hyun-sik barely suppressed his nausea as he turned to open the door. But the moment he stepped outside, he immediately threw up everything he'd eaten the day before. How do I describe what I just saw? There's no word for it but disgusting. I swear, I'm going to butcher that pig. And so, for a whole week, Choi Hyun-sik brought Doris meals, feeding him meat on a regular schedule, training him to become a slave to meat, and planning to lure him into the forest for disposal. That was Choi Hyun-sik's original plan. But today, after finishing his meal, Doris suddenly looked troubled and stopped eating. It turned out he had a position defense match scheduled for tomorrow. If he lost, he'd lose his post as commander. It's all my fault for letting myself go like this. No wonder everyone looks down on me now. Doris looked at his bloated body and gave a self-deprecating smile, then started wolfing down the meat again. But Choi Hyun-sik was plunged into despair. Crap, if this pig gets killed in the duel, all my work this week will be wasted. And there's no way this pig could possibly win the match. That's why you should always keep in shape, you dumb pig. Choi Hyun-sik wanted to grab Doris by the collar and scream. Just then, Doris spoke up. If you have time, I hope you'll come watch the match. You're my good luck charm. Sure, Choi Hyun-sik nodded, silently praying, please, let the challenger be even more hopeless than Doris. The next day, Choi Hyun-sik showed up at the arena for the match, sporting dark circles under his eyes after a sleepless night. Maybe that pig will suddenly awaken and turn into Super Pig. But what kind of Super Pig weighs over 800 pounds? No way. Even he didn't believe his own nonsense. Meanwhile, in the arena, it took Doris a full half-hour just to climb the stairs to the stage. But when he spotted Choi Hyun-sik in the stands, Doris felt all his efforts were worthwhile. My lucky charm, you finally showed up. His opponent, however, was a huge, muscular demon with a stag's head. Clearly, Choi Hyun-sik's prayers had gone unanswered. With the referee's signal, the duel began. The stag-headed demon attacked first, moving at astonishing speed, but froze the moment he collided with Doris. To everyone's shock, Doris, who looked like he could barely walk, was strong enough to completely halt his opponent's momentum. He squared his stance, then suddenly unleashed his power, shattering the entire arena with a single blow. Even up in the stands, Choi Hyun-sik was almost caught in the shockwave. Choi Hyun-sik was certain the fight was over, and the winner was none other than Doris. After the match, Choi Hyun-sik returned to his quarters. Having witnessed Doris's real strength, he was sure that Bobo alone wouldn't be enough to defeat him. So Choi Hyun-sik revised his plan. He'd have to find an even stronger creature deep in the hunting forest to team up against Doris, something on the level of the Talus Queen. Thanks to the hard work of his cooking corps, Choi Hyun-sik had gathered plenty of intel on the area. Mr. Hero, are you thinking? That's right. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. On the third day, deep in the forest, Rahel was covering her mouth, looking ready to puke. After memorizing 3 days' worth of monster encyclopedias, her brain was stuffed to the brim. Let's go before I throw up, Mr. Hero. Choi Hyun-sik nodded and pulled out a map. Their first target was just a kilometer ahead, a creature the cooks had marked as Surfib. Rahel jumped in. In ancient language, it means forest worm. There's also Morsefit and a Stunby, which look similar. But that idea was vetoed instantly, since Rahel pointed out those creatures weren't very strong and rarely attacked people. So, how about it? Aren't I a genius? Call me the beast expert. Choi Hyun-sik looked dazed. Yeah, you're not just a genius, you're also incredibly wise. But I have to admit, empty-headed people do learn fast. Soon, Choi Hyun-sik had all the kitchen soldiers assembled. Scanning the map, one spot caught his eye. The note says, covered in steel-like scales, dragon-like appearance. But Rahel said, there are lots of dragon species. That description isn't specific enough. In Choi Hyun-sik's mind, dragons were the strongest beasts, so he decided to check it out himself. Arriving at the dragon's territory, Choi Hyun-sik gave the cooks their orders. Clear out this area. Don't bother capturing anything alive, hunt and eat on the spot. The decision sent the cooking corps into a frenzy of excitement. The head chefs finally come to his senses. We get to eat fresh meat, eat until we burst. Meat. I want meat. Soon, they'd hunted down a massive number of beasts. Unlike the excited cooks, Choi Hyun-sik was increasingly anxious. Why hasn't the Beast Lord shown up yet? With so many little ones dead, the big one should be here by now. Not wanting to waste the day, Choi Hyun-sik decided to push things further. He had the cooks start a fire and barbecue the monsters right on the spot. Sure enough, not long after they started grilling, the ground began to shake. At the same time, Choi Hyun-sik's eyes lit up. Is it here? He didn't know what it was, but he could feel a massive presence approaching. Moments later, a beast crashed through the trees. Its eyes glowed crimson. It stood an incredible 5 meters tall. Its head was dragon-shaped, and its whole body was covered in black scales. Choi Hyun-sik immediately whipped out the combat level meter. Unmeasurable combat power. Perfect, just what I needed. Rahel told Choi Hyun-sik, that's a Nidrak. Its power rivals that of a battalion commander. A dragon. Run for your lives. The cooks panicked and scattered. But Choi Hyun-sik just grinned. Now we can beat Doris. Well then, everyone, I'm going, see you. And with that, he sprinted away. Elsewhere, Raid Run had been summoned to Hemis's office. What's Choi Hyun-sik been up to lately? Raid Run replied that he was just doing his usual head chef duties. Hemis found it odd. Choi Hyun-sik's been far too well-behaved lately. Raid Run, you haven't taught him any crazy tricks again, have you? No, just the regular training. Hemis then asked what Choi Hyun-sik's chances were of beating the battalion commander. Raid Run's answer, 0. Though Choi Hyun-sik had been calm and quiet lately, Raid Run had noticed something strange. I heard he's been spending a lot of time with Doris. You mean that pig? Hemis looked puzzled. I told him to beat the commander, but now he's cozying up to him. What are you plotting? Well, this should be interesting. Let's see how it plays out. In the following days, Choi Hyun-sik kept bringing Doris delicious food. This is just amazing. Thanks for the barbecue again today. After 50 plates of barbecue, Doris let out a little piggy burp. But just then, Choi Hyun-sik let out a troubled sigh, which immediately caught Doris's attention. What's wrong? Did something happen? Choi Hyun-sik's eyes filled with tears. It's nothing, just something's happened in the kitchen core. This might be the last time I bring you food. The gravity of the situation made Doris leap to his feet. What? Tell me, what happened? With a woeful face, Choi Hyun-sik waved him off. Commander Hemis says she wants to taste a special monster's meat. But this beast is so strong, even after days of fighting, we haven't been able to catch it. This stunned Doris. He couldn't imagine what kind of creature could be that strong. Marble-patterned beast? What is that? I've never heard of it. Of course Doris hadn't heard of it. Choi Hyun-sik had just made it up on the spot. This is a matter of life and death. I'd never lie to you. Seeing Choi Hyun-sik in trouble, Doris generously offered to lend him 200 soldiers, but Choi Hyun-sik politely refused. He said the soldiers were too weak. No matter how many, it would just be sending them to die. But if our great Lord Doris were to step in personally, maybe this problem could be solved. And if you do, I'll make sure Commander Hemis knows it was your achievement. The thought of Hemis praising his handsome face had Doris giddy with excitement. Really? You do that? Seeing Doris take the bait, Choi Hyun-sik quickly promised again to spread word of his deeds, finally getting Doris to agree. All right, I'll help you. After all, we're friends. Really? You mean it? A meaningful smile crept across Choi Hyun-sik's downturned face. Thank you, sir. At dawn, Choi Hyun-sik got up and led his large force into the forest. Today was the day of the final showdown. Operation Pig Hunt was officially underway. This time, he brought along the strongest combat power from the cooking corps, Bobo and Yuzaru. Although there was still some time before Hemis's deadline, they decided to take action early. Choi Hyun-sik headed toward Doris's unit, and soon, the two sides met up and entered the forest together. Not only did Doris come in person, he even brought all the soldiers from his battalion, over 500 in total, showing just how seriously he was taking the mission. But to Choi Hyun-sik, this was anything but good news. Isn't this a bit much? Over 500 soldiers? Nidrak, you're not a coward, right? It was all he could do to reassure himself. They pressed deeper into the forest for who knows how long, when suddenly, the ground started to shake violently. Choi Hyun-sik swallowed hard. That's him, he's here. All right, time to get some exercise. Doris stretched and leapt from his carriage. At that moment, Nidrak crashed through the trees, his roar echoing across the land. Nidrak's monstrous cry made Doris frown. So that's the marble-patterned beast? Feels like I've seen it somewhere before. Doris seemed lost in thought, maybe recalling a run-in with Nidrak from the past. Choi Hyun-sik quickly broke his train of thought. Don't all monsters look pretty similar anyway? I suppose you're right. Thankfully, Doris was easily convinced. Leave this guy to me. And make sure you tell the commander about my contribution. With that, Doris charged forward alone. Of course. I'll report everything to the commander in detail myself. A sly smile crept across Choi Hyun-sik's lips. Soon, Doris and Nidrak were locked in a titanic battle, with over 500 battalion soldiers surging in behind them. Every time Doris and Nidrak clashed, the explosions were deafening, earth cracked, and rocks shattered. Mr. Hero, when do we step in? At this rate, that pig might actually kill Nidrak, asked Rahel softly from Choi Hyun-sik's arms. But Choi Hyun-sik stared in shock, realizing Doris had made a ruthless decision. He was sacrificing his own soldiers to take the brunt of Nidrak's attacks while keeping himself safe. Just as the battle reached its peak, a panicked soldier rushed over, shouting that another monster was attacking. That threw a wrench into all of Choi Hyun-sik's plans. Wasn't this Nidrak's territory? By the law of the wild, monster overlords usually didn't invade each other's turf. Moments later, the ground split open and a gigantic worm-like monster burst forth. That's Serfiv, Rahel shouted, recognizing it instantly. What's that thing doing here? Choi Hyun-sik yelled. But that wasn't the last. More and more powerful monsters, each a ruler in their own domain, began appearing throughout the forest. It was total chaos, and totally off-script. Realizing he was outmatched, Doris immediately ordered his soldiers to retreat. Rahel grew anxious at his side. Mr. Hero, what do? We can't let Doris escape. Choi Hyun-sik knew it too. If Doris got away, he'd be the one to die. He took a deep breath to steady himself, then spoke in a low voice. Raidrun-style martial art, first form. What are you mumbling about? Doris looked confused. But before a second passed, Choi Hyun-sik's punch slammed into Doris's gut. Cancel that order. We're not retreating. Choi Hyun-sik suddenly shouted, raising his voice. Everyone, listen up. Fight bravely. There's no turning back. Only those who survive can attend the victory banquet. His booming voice drowned out the chaos in the forest, and the blow sent Doris deep into thought. When are demons at their angriest? When they're beaten and bloody? No. When they lose a command contest? Still no. It's when they're betrayed by a worm-like human. I treated him well, and he dares betray me. Doris was so furious he nearly lost his mind, desperate to rip Choi Hyun-sik to pieces. His eyes glowed crimson, and only one thought filled his head: kill Choi Hyun-sik. Doris made up his mind and unleashed his trump card, Demon Bloodline, Stage 2, Bloom. It was a skill that traded life for explosive power. Choi Hyun-sik was floored, and even Rahel urged him to run for his life. But Doris's attack was indiscriminate and deadly, demonic energy spreading outward from him in all directions. The nearby monster Surfeit was instantly killed. Luckily, Choi Hyun-sik was far enough away to avoid the worst of it, but Doris's rage showed no signs of abating. I'm going to tear you apart. In this desperate moment, Choi Hyun-sik remembered his two trump cards, Bobo and Uzaru. Where are they? Rahel's face darkened. I think they got sucked into Surfeit's burrow. On hearing that, Choi Hyun-sik felt like dying. It meant he'd have to face Doris alone, and that was almost impossible. But at that moment, Doris's trembling body suddenly coughed twice, blood streaming from his lips. That's when Choi Hyun-sik realized the destructive skill had a serious backlash. He turned and ran for his life. Rahel, tell me, what monsters are nearby? 11 o'clock, straight ahead is ogre territory. Ogres are strong. They average over 30,000 combat power. But to Doris, now in Demon Bloodline Stage 2, ogres were no more than bugs to be squashed. So the chase began, one running, one pursuing, going on for about 10 minutes. Doris grew impatient, then stopped in his tracks and activated Demon Bloodline Stage 3. Suddenly, tremendous power surged from within him. But just then, a sharp pain stabbed through his heart, and with a violent cough, mouthfuls of blood spilled from his lips. Rahel could feel it. Doris's demonic power was draining rapidly. What's going on? Am I at my limit? Must have burned too much energy chasing him. Realizing the danger, Doris turned to flee. Where do you think you're going? Just you wait. Once I recover, you're dead. But he'd pushed himself too hard. Doris barely managed 2 steps before Choi Hyun-sik caught up to him. You're not getting away. Choi Hyun-sik clenched his fist, pouring all his magic into it. Raidrun-style martial art, 7th form, destructive shockwave. To his shock, even exhausted, Doris still caught his strongest attack. Their magic clashed in the air, the power so great it seemed the earth itself would split. But suddenly, a mysterious force intervened, hurling Choi Hyun-sik away. Damn it, what the hell was that? He scrambled up, and saw Doris clinging to Hemis's leg, begging for mercy. Please save me, Commander. But Hemis's only answer was a surge of overwhelming demonic energy. Shut up, Doris. How stupid do you have to be to get beaten this badly by a human? Doris instantly fell silent. While they stood there stunned, Choi Hyun-sik dashed forward. As agreed, I have now defeated a battalion commander. As he spoke, his kick landed squarely on the back of Doris's head. Well, it counts as beating the commander. Hemis's huge lips split into a wide grin. Now that was entertaining. In the office, Hemis questioned, I told you to defeat the battalion commander, and this is how you did it? I used every method I could think of, but I never imagined the whole unit would end up in chaos. Hearing Choi Hyun-sik's explanation, Hemis burst out laughing. What on earth goes on in your head to come up with something like that? I really want to crack it open and see. Choi Hyun-sik froze. Please restrain your curiosity. I'd really appreciate it. Hemis figured Choi Hyun-sik was just exploiting a loophole in her words. But since it was his first time, she decided to count the mission as complete this time. I don't like this. Don't let it happen again. Choi Hyun-sik could only nod vigorously. Yes, ma'am, thank you very much. Back at Bobo's place, Choi Hyun-sik collapsed on the floor. Phew, I really thought I was going to die. Today was exhausting, every second felt like walking on thin ice. By the way, what was up with that powered-up form Doris used? It seems to be a martial skill unique to the demon race. Maybe we can ask that Minotaur about it. Hearing their conversation, Bobo poked his head out from where he was resting and let out a tentative bark. All right, Bobo, you worked hard too. Sorry I haven't taken good care of you. Bobo perked up, barking energetically as if to say he was fine. Choi Hyun-sik patted Bobo's head over and over. Still, I do feel a little bad for Doris. He actually treated me pretty well, and in the end, I tricked him. Really? You sure don't look the least bit guilty, Rahel squinted at him. No, I'm really sorry, I swear. Choi Hyun-sik buried his face in his hands, but the upward curl of his lips gave him away. Hey, you're smiling, aren't you? Take your hands off your face. After defeating Doris, Choi Hyun-sik shot up to level 420, and his combat power soared to a terrifying 13,936. Awesome, let's keep this momentum going. Time for a celebratory drink. Rahel brought over a huge mug of beer. Let's toast to taking down Doris. Cheers. 3 mornings later, Choi Hyun-sik arrived at the training grounds early, even half an hour before Raid Run. Good morning, Mr. Raid Run. Congratulations on defeating Doris. Thank you. Choi Hyun-sik walked over and took the chance to ask, Mr. Raid Run, do you know about Flow Mote? Raid closed his eyes, deep in thought, then nodded after a moment. It's a little early, but if it's you, it should be fine. In truth, Raid had planned to teach flow mode much later, since it was extremely dangerous. If you tried it without a solid foundation, it could destroy your body. Raid began explaining the principles of flow mode. Flow mode is divided into two main types. The first is tangible flow mode, which follows specific forms and techniques. The second is intangible flow mode, like flowing strangle, which follows no set pattern. The intangible ones are much rarer than the standard kind. The blossom technique Doris used is an intangible flow mode. From Choi Hyun-sik's understanding, the first type was like an attack skill, while the second was more of a buff. Raid continued, evolution forms are an ancient combat skill. Anyone with demon power can learn it, but it's rarely used because the side effects are so severe. Choi Hyun-sik fell into thought. Is it possible for me to learn this evolution skill? I seem to have black magic in my body too. But Raid explained that it only existed inside him. It wasn't magic he'd produced himself. That probably won't be a problem, right? Even if something happens, we still have Miss Abelson. Choi Hyun-sik wanted to learn it, even if it was dangerous. Raid massaged his forehead, lowering his head to think for a long while. Choi Hyun-sik immediately dropped to his knees and hugged Raid's leg. If you don't teach me, I'll die. You know what Commander Hemis is like. She might have me fight the regimental commander tomorrow. Under his desperate pleading, Raid finally gave in. But be prepared. This could cost you your life. That's fine. Every minute here is a gamble anyway. Then let's begin. Meanwhile, in the underground prison beneath the Gaetran Empire's cathedral, the Pope stood in front of a bloodied, battered man, Geffen. Having failed to rescue the Saintess, he was now a criminal. He forced the words from his cracked lips. Is it the Pope? Are you starting again? Another round of torture? Punishment in the name of confession? The Pope nodded, accepting Geffen's words. I'll give you a chance to make up for your crimes. The Pope's sickening tone nearly made Geffen retch, but he wasn't ready to die. What kind of chance? Kill Abelson. The Pope's face was ice cold. Geffen wondered if he'd misheard. What? Why? This makes no sense. Why kill the next Saintess? What could you possibly gain? The Pope gave no reply, only saying the reason was none of Geffen's concern. Geffen shook his head. I can't take this mission. There's the glutton in the Black Castle. I can't deal with her. The Pope's stern expression softened. Don't worry. We'll act when the glutton isn't there. I'll assign 3 knights to help you. This time, you must succeed, Mr. Geffen. On the road to glory, failure is not an option. Elsewhere, after his first attempt at using evolution form, Choi Hyun-sik collapsed on the ground, foaming at the mouth, barely alive. Luckily, Raid called Abelson for help. Are you both insane? Letting a human practice combat techniques made for demons. Choi Hyun-sik said he felt fine, and that over time, the black magic in his body was actually lessening. Abelson gave Raid a dangerous look. Are you a priest? If you're not even an expert yourself, how can you be sure nothing will go wrong? If this continues, Choi Hyun-sik's chances of survival are less than 1%. Before, I sealed the black magic in his body, but now it's all been released. In this situation, Abelson had only one option, to fuse Choi Hyun-sik's magic with his body completely. This was fundamentally different from having residual magic inside. It was a true metamorphosis of the human species, something that by rights should be impossible. I'll use holy power to suppress the black magic, then spread it evenly through his body, adjusting the concentration until it's within what he can tolerate. Is that really possible? Raid asked, face tense. I don't know. I've never done this, and there's no precedent for it. There's also the chance that the black magic will resist the holy power and go berserk. Abelson grabbed Choi Hyun-sik's hand. But either way, we have no choice but to try. As her words fell, brilliant golden light flooded the room. Holy power poured from Abelson into Choi Hyun-sik's body. 3 days later, Choi Hyun-sik groaned and opened his eyes. What happened to me? He hadn't even sat up before Bobo and Rahel rushed over. You're awake. You're finally awake. Our hero is back. Rahel stared intently at Choi Hyun-sik. Are you alright, my hero? I'm fine, Choi Hyun-sik answered in a barely audible voice, his memory stuck on learning the evolution form, though his body didn't seem to have any obvious problems. While checking himself, he opened his status window. Just as I feared, the worst has happened. The mysterious box icon that had appeared in his status screen was now labeled Black Magic. This is really the end. Rahel, is it possible for a hero to possess black magic? Not long after Choi Hyun-sik woke up, Hemis and Raid arrived, having heard the news. Told you he'd wake up, didn't I? Hemis had heard the whole story from Raid and found it highly amusing. You actually tried to turn demon power into human power. With ideas that interesting, why not come and tell me about them? Suddenly, Hemis's tone dropped. Looks like there's a reason humans call her the Sanctus. For you to survive even in this state, would you like me to help you out a little? Hemis's lips curled into a slow, ominous smile. She stepped forward, radiating power. Just as Choi Hyun-sik tried to step back, a flood of magic poured into his body. The pain blurred his consciousness. Don't worry, Raid he'll be fine. It's alright, he just needs a nap. You should feel honored. With those cryptic words, Choi Hyun-sik's awareness faded completely. The Demon King is calling, I have to go. Raid Run, I'm leaving something in your care. In a flash, 3 days had passed since Hemis's departure. Luckily, Choi Hyun-sik recovered quickly, thanks to Abelson's constant care. For days, she attended to him with painstaking attention. Thank you, Miss Abelson. No need to thank me. It was your own willpower that got you through, Abelson said, then quietly added, you're my only hope. That left Choi Hyun-sik completely confused, but Abelson refused to elaborate. That's all for today's treatment, I have to go. Why does Miss Abelson always say such strange things? Just how much is she hiding from me? After Abelson left, Choi Hyun-sik immediately sought out Raid Run and asked to resume training. Are you sure you're okay? Raid Run asked, worry in his eyes. Miss Abelson said as long as I don't use magic, there's no problem. But as Choi Hyun-sik spoke, Raid Run's mind drifted. It's been 3 days since Commander Hemis left. The meeting at the Demon King's castle is an annual event, but for some reason, I can't shake a bad feeling about it this year. Mr. Raid Run? Mr. Raid Run? Choi Hyun-sik's repeated calls finally snapped him back. You've been really busy lately, haven't you? With all your Legion commander duties, anything I can do to help? Raid Run shook his head. No, it's fine. The commander will be back soon anyway. So don't worry about me, just focus on taking care of yourself. Hearing those words, Choi Hyun-sik immediately knelt down and gave him a loud kowtow. Yes, sir, I understand. Watching his smiling face, Raid Run had another thought. Choi Hyun-sik really has grown stronger, even if he hasn't noticed himself. Has his body evolved after adapting to the black magic? Maybe he's getting stronger because his body is adjusting to the magic. As he pondered the reason for this growth, Raid Run's expression suddenly froze. Holy power? In the 3rd Legion's Black Tower headquarters, Raid Run had sensed a surge of sacred power. True, the Saintess-in-Waiting Abelson was stationed here, but what he felt now was not hers. Someone's concealing holy power, for distinct, hidden presences. If Raid Run hadn't been hypersensitive to holy power, he'd never have noticed. Looks like something's about to go down. Raid Run's abrupt words caught Choi Hyun-sik off guard. What do you mean? Something's up? No time to explain, stay here and wait. Leaving Choi Hyun-sik standing there, Raid Run hurried off in a specific direction. Perhaps to maintain stealth, the intruders were moving slowly. The infiltration was going smoothly. Is it because the glutton isn't here, Mr. Geffen? Unlike the relaxed nights, Geffen was deadly serious. Keep your voices down. The glutton may be gone, but there's another monster in this castle, the Red Nightmare. No sooner had he spoken than Raid Run appeared, blocking their advance. The intruders, for humans in black hoods, were clearly startled to see Raid Run appear. That's the Red Nightmare? The magic coming off this guy is no joke. Be careful, everyone. Geffen, as the leader, immediately issued orders. Lucas, Nell, go find the Saintess Avelson. Oka, you're with me, we'll take on the Red Nightmare together. Staring into those eyes, Raid Run frowned. This guy's at least regiment commander level. The madness radiating from Geffen was that of a division commander. Their goal must be to rescue Abelson. Given how important this is, they must have brought their elite. The other 3 are at least company commander level each. To be honest, just Geffen alone is already a nightmare to face. Fortunately, just then, Choi Hyun-sik's voice rang out from behind. Mr. Raid Run, things look pretty serious so I came as well. Though Raid Run said, didn't I tell you to wait for me? In his heart he was actually grateful. Listen, Choi Hyun-sik, their target is the Saintess. Raid Run took off his necklace and tossed it to him. Take the Saintess and get out of here. Use this necklace as proof of identity to rally our top officers. Understood. Choi Hyun-sik nodded without hesitation. Meanwhile, the humans were on the move as well, and Geffen was locked in fierce battle with Raid Run. Hold him off. If this gets out of hand, we're in trouble. 2 knights immediately broke off to chase after Choi Hyun-sik. Without the commander's orders, you absolutely cannot take the Saintess. At that moment, Raid Run slammed his fist into the ground. Raid Run Martial Arts, 7th form, Explosive Shockwave. The instant his fist hit, the ground erupted with a deafening crash, upheaving earth and stone. Thanks to Raid Run's help, Choi Hyun-sik managed to escape and sprint straight for Abelson's room. Just then, the hero system popped up. Evil forces are attempting to kill Abelson. As a hero, it is your duty to protect the candidate Saintess. Objective, protect Abelson. Reward, 1,000 hero points. Evil forces are trying to kill Abelson? That just sounds weird. Those guys are probably the rescue team from the Gatron Empire, so aren't they supposed to be the good guys? And the reward's way too high, 1,000 hero points for this quest. Choi Hyun-sik shook his head, pushed aside those thoughts, and burst into the Saintess's room. The humans have broken in again. It's the same people as last time. We have to run. Because Choi Hyun-sik was holding Raid Run's necklace, the Minotaur guards protecting the Saintess didn't stop him. The intruders are here. By Mr. Raid Run's orders, we'll hold this place to the death and stop anyone from coming in. Human, get the Saintess out of here, quickly. With no time to waste, Choi Hyun-sik scooped Abelson up in his arms. "Forgive me for being impolite." At the 3rd Legion headquarters conference room, Commander Roiger was in the middle of a meeting with his officers. Currently, 2 commanders were stationed in the Black Castle, each with 5 battalion commanders under them. Since Doris's death, there were only 9 battalion commanders left. In the middle of the meeting, a goblin rushed in to report, "Urgent news. A human has arrived with Mr. Raedron's necklace, and says humans have attacked the castle and are after the Saintess." What's going on? Roiger was confused, so he stepped out to meet Choi Hyun-sik. This commander looked completely human. Choi Hyun-sik recognized him as the high-ranking demon who'd appeared during Doris's commander selection. "Explain exactly what happened." Choi Hyun-sik produced Raedron's necklace and explained everything that had just happened. Roiger listened, his face full of doubt. Humans want to kill the Saintess? That's impossible. But at that very moment, as if hearing something, he suddenly shouted for everyone to get down. Sure enough, the next instant, 2 dark figures dropped from above, heading straight for the Saintess. Roiger instantly tried to immobilize them with a binding spell, but he was too far away. The spell didn't reach in time. Just as the hero quest had said, these people weren't here to rescue Abelson, but to kill her. Blades whistled through the air, unstoppable. Raid-run martial arts, 7th form, explosive shockwave. At the last possible moment, Choi Hyun-sik landed a direct hit on the attacker. "I will protect Miss Abelson."